Hey guys. Good evening.
What's up, Banana?
Oh, just got to the office. Back to the office.
The banner looks good.
What banner now?
Or not the banner, the border, the profile picture border.
Right, the gold circle.
Yeah, you can actually read it now, which is pretty cool.
Yes. I didn't even know that it had a problem until I don't remember what it was that provoked me to like just renovate it. And then, you threw in the idea to throw in the ticker symbols, which I was hesitant at first, but now I'm like, oh yeah, man. It's part of our branding. It's good. I like it.
Yeah, I was a little hesitant to say throw in the tickers too, but I was like, you know what? I think they can fit, and I think we could let the currency be out of it in exchange for people seeing the tickers right there.
Yeah, it's a little awkward because you have the grays at the top and then pTGC and UFO at the bottom. It's just slightly awkward, and which is why I hesitated. But I wouldn't go back. I like it. I think it's worth having the ticker symbols on there, even though if you don't know, if you're not familiar with the phrase, the grays currencies, then it won't even matter to you. It's not going to matter to anybody anyhow. I think everybody would agree. I like having the ticker symbols on there.
Definitely. Yeah, I kind of thought for a little bit, I was like, oh, they'll just search up the whole token name. But I was like, you know what? If they just type in the grays, it should pop up. They can type in pTGC, it should pop up. They type in UFO, it should pop up. Kind of got it all covered.
Yeah, but the biggest thing is we went with a larger font and black. I'm pretty sure it's black, and it stands out a lot more.
Yeah, it's readable when it's small.
Exactly, cool. It's readable. So what I was saying a few minutes ago is that I looked it up, and Grok actually recommends, like you suggested, quality in posting on X versus quantity. So I was agreeing with you.
I was getting ready to hop in here, and I was like, whoa, there's a crazy amount of these hashtag PulseChain's, and I was scrolling. I was like, holy God, this is all the accounts put out for like a week.
Yeah. Well, there's a prairie banana around here nowadays.
Yeah, I think overall it was fine. You know what I mean? Getting stuff out is better than not getting stuff out. But I was like, maybe we'll do half and then try on that half to write up a little something extra or something if we can.
One of my problems is I do a lot of I never text while I drive, but I've been known to type while driving. So I do a lot. Like you'll see some of my posts won't have a hashtag. Usually that's because I'm in my truck. And I'm like, all right, I ain't doing no hashtags. I'm just getting it out. I'm going to be a safe driver. And skip the hashtags.
I have a problem with that too. Sadly, I get a lot of work done. Yeah. You know, the truck I have, it has freeway driving assist. It's a Ford F-150, and I was super excited for it because sometimes, especially with work and stuff, you have a lot of driving. At least in my industry, I have to go all over the place for meetings and stuff. And I was like, this is really going to help me. But I don't need to pay the gobs extra for the self-driving. But you know what the bummer is? It wants to detect both hands on the steering wheel, even when. And I don't even drive with both hands on the steering wheel.
Yeah. I'm with you.
So I was like, God, this sucks. And at the time, I was going to tell myself, okay, I'm sure there's a way to, wrap something on there or something like that to trick it. I never got to it. The hype was over. The hype once I got it, I was like, oh, right when when I got in, I was like, I'm driving home. I'm using the driving assist, and then it started yelling at me to put my other hand on the steering wheel, and I was just like, gosh, I need to find out. I haven't looked into it 2 years later, but I'm sure there's a workaround that you could buy something that you put on it.
Yeah, that will simulate a pulse or something like that.
I'm sure it literally is just pressure on it. Like I'm sure it's not that smart, but
yeah,
probably just tie a rope around it.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, this Lemonade is bringing an idea. I think you're bringing it the second time, Lemonade. And he says, did anyone compare and contrast pTGC with Bitcoin, like number of X's from the bottom? I think it would help with onboarding.
One thing on the new site that I'm working on, and I don't think the from the bottom is going to work that well, but there is going to be time frames to where you can look at percentage increases in time frames. So there's going to be like a 30-day increase, or a 7-day, 30-day, 1 year, like 5 year, I think. And it's going to have Bitcoin incorporated in it, Ethereum incorporated in it. I think Solana incorporated in it. I think PLS, this is off of memory, to where you can hop on there at any time and like look at, okay, in the last year, if I held Bitcoin and Ethereum as store of value, long-term assets, or if I held pTGC, which one performed better? Also UFO. So I think that would be kind of cool. Just, yearly you can kind of take a look, because our goal is to become premier store of value, finding the people who, a lot of people hold Bitcoin and Ethereum for them being good stores of value, right? Being able to just, for it being trustless, for it having tons of liquidity, for its dependability, even though there maybe is more X's to find in the trenches or speculating on lower cap things, but a lot of real large investors don't need to speculate on crazy speculations because they have very large amounts of money and they don't want to risk it, right? So this is kind of the direction pTGC is trying to grow into, is we want to be that trustless ecosystem that has the liquidity, that has the steady price appreciation over periods of time for these large investors. Obviously, the deflationary system plus APY built into the code is going to help onboard, along with my goal of more price appreciation, right? If we're 4 years in and let's say we're 100x higher than here or 500x higher than here, but we're still on yearly basis after, a lot of the big X's are gone. But if on a yearly time frame or a 5-year time frame, we're still doing a significant amount of value increase over Bitcoin and Ethereum due to our mechanics. Plus we have like the liquidity and stuff to back us. I think those charts will be really, really important to look at.
I'm hoping that the Gray's Currencies holders are going to be looking for places to store their value, maybe even outside of the Gray's Currencies. I mean, I've been thinking that for the last several months that I might want to rotate some into Bitcoin. And I have a hard time like imagining, like a year ago, there's no way I was going to rotate into Bitcoin, but after this cycle, I might want to get a position in Bitcoin. But I don't know that. It all depends on what happens over here in the Gray's Currencies. But you might have a valid point that maybe we'll be more attractive to the Bitcoiners to come over to pTGC, and I'll have to rethink my plan. But my plan changes from week to week. So
yeah. So one way we plan on, the community plans on, because we've had conversations about this, is once PulseChain starts to revalue, we'll probably put a little bit of effort into adding some liquidity with Bitcoin and Ethereum when this massive discount on PLS kind of leaves, because there is users who actually want to be partially exposed to some more legacy finance products like Bitcoin and Ethereum. And we actually have the ability to do that with the DAO and with the liquidity web. So by just holding pTGC and UFO, you could actually be exposed to Bitcoin and ETH while just holding pTGC and UFO, right? Same with stables, etc.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been spending a lot of time, well, not a lot of time, just studying TikTok and how to market on TikTok. And because I've been creating these videos and posting on TikTok for the first time ever. And that's a whole new animal, man, that TikTok. I don't even like the name, sorry, but I was telling my wife, I'm like, I don't like TikTok. I'll be honest. Maybe I'll grow to like it. And I can definitely see the utility in it. It's just a different platform. But if it will work to onboard people to the Grays, I'm giving it a try, and we'll see what happens. I would say probably one of the most interesting things about TikTok is that when you post content up to that platform, they send it to 99% of the people that don't follow you. That's the target audience. I'm like, whoa, that could really work, So I'm giving it a go.
Yeah, where I think TikTok will probably do well for you is when the green candles really start to come in.
Yep.
Because it's not so much like an educational platform. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't even have a TikTok. So I'm like really taking guesses here. But from what I understand is, I think it's very attention grabby, and you need to be able to get people's attention in very quick time periods. They say like 3 seconds.
Yes.
So the first 3 seconds of your video has to really grab someone's attention. And the starting process or even the journey of financial freedom, once that's happened, like a lot of people I've seen do decently well on TikTok, even like just have a journey of like, hey, I'm a person who's trying to become self-employed. I actually will use an example. My sister is self-employed, and on her journey of starting her business, she actually like shared the steps, right? And then people want to go on that journey with her and with her business. And she had a lot of things that kind of went viral via like her showing the build out of her business, because she, had to do a remodel and stuff to a commercial unit, and the process of the design of her logo, etc. She showed a lot of that process, and people love that kind of stuff. And then, that helped her get clients as well.
Sure.
So maybe it's something we have to just tweak as far as like what we're even showing the audience, because it might be a little bit different than Twitter or YouTube. And I think if you make something there, you might as well put it on Twitter and YouTube.
Yep.
But, there's no reason to waste it. But maybe because I think you're trying to do something every day, right?
Yes. And for TikTok, you have to do it every day. I mean, if you're going to get any traction, every single day, they want you to post something. Yeah.
So maybe every day isn't like TikTok content that you specifically say, like, I think this content's good for TikTok, but maybe every third day, and then the other third day you do something you think is good for a YouTube short, and then the other third day you do something you think is good for a Twitter short. Because I bet you if you look into it, it's all a little different. Yeah. Or maybe what I'm kind of describing TikTok as is maybe that's what's in right now, and people kind of want to go along the journey. And maybe that's fun for people to see, like our journey as Gray's currency holders from where we are today, from, someone, let's say, if someone was exposed themselves to the Grays today. This is kind of what I actually did a year ago with the UFO journey from 30K to 1 mil. Mm-hmm. The journey's definitely taken longer than I expected. You feel free to use that wallet if you want. That's why I kind of made it. I honestly was planning on posting more with it. There might be good to do a pTGC one with it, because the cool thing about the UFO one is it's all the Richard tickers, right? Because the liquidity farm with UFO is all the Richard tickers. So it also also is kind of built on the success of Richard's tickers, which I think the UFO 30, for anyone listening who doesn't know, there's a 30K journey wallet that's turning $30,000 into $1 million. We're seeing how long that takes. And it was made live, I think a month and a half after UFO launched. And we took 30K, bought UFO, and we also bought RH tickers, and we LP'd them via the UFO farm. We're getting the PLS rewards, and we're turning the PLS rewards into kind of whatever we want. I think we did UFO last time, but we're seeing how long it takes to turn 30K into $1 million via this wallet. We're like a year and something in. I think the 30K is currently at like, gosh, I'm just guessing, I'd say 150K.
Yeah, I should look. I'll pull it up while we're chatting.
Okay, cool. But yeah, maybe something fun like that. Like, it's not too interesting right now. That's why I haven't been talking about it. It's been at like, I think it got up to 300K and then came back down to 150K, maybe even got down to 100K at one point. Keep in mind, when it was created, PLS and all of the RH tickers were higher than they are today. So if it was only in RH tickers, we would actually be down on the 30K. We'd maybe be at 20K. But via the UFO farms, we're actually up like a good 4 or 5X because UFO went up, right? So that's kind of the one cool thing about the wallet as of right now is by diversifying in UFO by the UFO farms, the fact that it's a scarce, smaller cap asset, we've been able to do X's, which has helped the portfolio increase. But I do think it will become an interesting talking point once PulseChain starts cooking, because I don't plan on even closing it down once we get to 1 million. So we might be able to see 30K go to 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, right? And that's kind of, I think, what people on TikTok kind of like to see, stuff like that.
Yeah. Just so you know, it was 69 weeks ago. It looks like maybe somebody can do the math. 69. I could somebody pull up timeanddate.com and find out how long ago 69 weeks was. But that's when it looks like that's when you set up the wallet. Let me look at the portfolio.
Yeah, that's like 1 year, 2 months or something like that. 1 year, 3 months.
It's worth $124,483.
Okay, so up 4X.
Yeah.
Which,
not
again,
too shabby.
isn't bad considering that a good portion of that value is with Richard tickers, and Richard's tickers are down since the creation, but we're still up 4X on that wallet due to us being paired in every LP pool with UFO. And I think we're also holding some UFO liquid, which definitely did us a big favor.
Yeah. And do you mind if I drop it in the chat on YouTube?
No, drop it in the chat. Yeah, I made that public wallet for anyone to look at and watch and be on the journey.
There it is, guys. So
yeah, I kind of wish I had some pTGC in there also in the journey.
Yeah, I've got that covered.
Okay. Yeah, I guess we have that wallet there then.
Yeah.
Just need to track 2 wallets then. But yeah, I think that'll, again, when stuff starts kind of moving here, that will be a fun wallet to kind of maybe go over and look over and, you know, see if 30K can set someone technically financially free.
Yeah. So back on TikTok, once I'm up to 1,000 followers, I can restream from my StreamYard to TikTok, and we can actually stream this on TikTok. But I got to get up to 1,000 followers, and I've got maybe 3. I just started this morning, so that's my plug to. Let's get me some followers, guys.
Yeah. We got to get you a viral video or something.
That'd be nice. Yeah, I've got 2 followers. It's all right. This is a small start. What I'm doing is go ahead.
That's the hard part. I think just a lot of us crypto people don't have TikTok. I don't have a TikTok friend to follow you. But
I was looking through my feed, and I see a lot of people that are recognized. Now, whether they're actually active on TikTok or not might be a different story, you know.
Yeah, maybe they have to, or your feed has to just pop up to them, and then they'll be like, "Oh, cool, follow."
Yeah,
we'll keep working at it.
Yes, I'm watching YouTube videos. I found a guy that's really he seems really good with TikTok, and I've been picking up some stuff, about how to set your settings on your TikTok so your content reaches your target audience, and you don't want to.
Maybe you should send a DM to Tiger Crypto God too. I think he's pretty good at it.
Yeah, I might reach out to him. Yeah. The Mystic says, time to top up on pTGC. These price levels look oddly similar to previous lows on large time frames. The last 87% drop lasted 48 days. We are 48 days from the last peak in July. Interesting. That is an interesting observation, Mystic. Well done. Well put together.
Yeah, we also are pretty close to where we bounced pretty hard off of, I think, 4 months ago or 3 months ago or something like that. So a lot of people previously kind of wanted to scoop up this range, which makes a pretty strong support level. We'll see if we hold here. I think pretty easily we can hold here if PulseChain starts kind of working with us and the sub assets we're connected to kind of start working with us too, if some new value kind of starts flowing in. But we'll see. Maybe we go sideways for a little bit.
I wouldn't be surprised if we go sideways for a little bit. I'm dropping a video in the main chat from I'm going to try to get it in there. I can't. I'll have to do it in a second. But it's a 10 or so minute video about Bitcoin, about the Bitcoin cycle. And it left me enthusiastic and optimistic about the cycle because, we keep wondering when are things really going to take off, and they haven't yet. And I think the cycle is just being pushed out a little bit. I gave you some stuff. I sent you some stuff from a little chat that I'm in this morning, and I'll read it. And I'll leave the names out, this is all from a conversation. So you'll just have to read between the lines. Gentleman says, yes, the biggest hidden metric I know of is if the market is ranging into new all-time high before the Fed begins to cut rates, i.e. the Fed cuts were ineffective, the stock market goes into a raging bull market for 12 months. And if they cut this Wednesday, he says, hold on to your butts. And yes, the stock market is making, I think he meant to say it made a new all-time high last week. And another gentleman says, according to AI, 2 weeks ago, this has happened 7 times since 1982. Nobody's talking about it. One random guy in Sami's chat mentioned it about a month ago. But that was an interesting correlation to the Fed rate cuts and the stock market hitting a new all-time high before Fed rate cuts.
And you said that's happened 7 times since 1982?
Yes. So that's 18. I did the math on it in my head. That's 18 plus 25 is 43 divided by 7. It's happened 6 times, on average every 6 years. So that was positive. I mean, I was like, oh, okay, that sounds good. And then that coupled with the video that I'll try to drop into the main chat was left me feeling enthusiastic today.
Yeah, how many bull markets have we had since 1982?
Oh man. Yeah, well, what type of bull market? Real estate, stock market, crypto, because the crypto bull market's every 4 years, but I think the stocks is every 10 to 12 years, I think. I think the stock market probably follows the real estate market.
Yeah, I was talking stock market because what they were talking about was stock market. You're saying it's only happened 7 times that the stock market has hit all-time highs before rate cuts.
Yeah. So
I was kind of like, okay, well, how often has the stock market been in a bull market since that time period?
Let's find out.
7 times. Well, then that kind kind of all makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, we'll find out from ChatGPT. Since 1982. Hopefully it can give me a straightforward answer. But I gotta admit, my ChatGPT is slow. It is so slow. They can't build those data centers fast enough for me. It's searching. Well, what else has happened? Anwar Frederick says he's my second follower on TikTok. Cool. And you share your content on your TikTok. Awesome. Man, the more we can get, good content out about PulseChain and the Grays currencies, the faster we're going to onboard people. My thoughts this afternoon were, about the PulseChain bull run. My thought was, I think that PulseChain, I think Richard Hart's going to want PulseChain to go vertical. I think vertical versus a gradual rise is going to draw more eyeballs. Yeah, there's going to be sell pressure, increased sell pressure, maybe not even increased, maybe just the same amount of sell pressure in a shorter period of time. But I have a hunch that Richard Hart is going to want to draw a lot of attention to his chain. And that would be one way to do it. He's already sending out marketing. That is going to, in itself, is going to draw a lot of attention. But then if he can make not just green candles, but like massive green candles, that would be just, that would be the compound effect, because you have marketing material dripping out to all these, high-end zip codes. And then if you can have massive green candles, then it'd be like just unimaginable, perhaps. And I think that's probably what he wants. I think he wants to blow it up.
Yeah, I don't see a reason why not. If you're going to spend time, there's people packing these orders, spending time out of their life. Money was spent on these tablets, and it's a massive marketing push. You think you would do everything somewhat in your power to make it as powerful as possible. To me, if you also wanted to help your chain, not only help the chain by giving it green candles, but if you think about good entities buying the bottom of PulseChain and them being strong holders for PulseChain, if that's Richard, a guy who's known for not selling his assets for the most part, he's who I want to buy the bottom personally.
Yeah.
Equal a lot more sustainable growth.
Mm-hmm. Well, ChatGPT says that since 1982, there have been 5 major bull runs in the S&P 500. So the gentleman, when he put his query into ChatGPT, must have been referencing a different type of bull run. Stock market bull run. 5 major stock market bull runs, just to be clear. But it's still an interesting. When it comes to the FOMC meeting this week, I think a lot has already been baked in, into where it's going to be like a buy the rumor, sell the news. I think we'll see a little bit of green if they cut the rates a bit, and I think they probably will. I think we'll see a little bit of green, but it could be pretty much a nothing burger, and I'm ready for that. I'm ready for it. I'm just gonna keep doing what I gotta do, and the pieces will fall where they're supposed to fall and when they're supposed to fall.
Yeah, it's kind of what we've been doing for the last 2 years. It's just keep doing what we're doing, keep educating on the pTGC and UFO machine. We know what these machines do. We know what deflationary supplies, adding liquidity, APY built into code. We know this is a utility or a product that a lot of people are looking for. Not many people even know PulseChain exists. Even a less amount even know pTGC exists, UFO exists. Even more don't even understand it. So what we can do is just keep educating people, and when new users come across us, people who actually want to invest in long-term systems that can offer great gains, APY built in the code, deflationary systems, the things that a lot of people are actually looking for. We're going to be happily here to help them. So,
yeah.
and then if PulseChain helps bring people in eventually, because that's one thing that I've kind of noticed is I know for a fact pTGC and UFO has brought in tons of people in the PulseChain. I've seen hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars come into PulseChain specifically to get into pTGC and UFO.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I watch a lot of the buys. So I'm excited for the point of when millions of dollars are also flowing in to PulseChain Hex, PulseX, which it has been, but there's also value going out of PulseChain from those same assets, right? There's also money going out with pTGC and UFO too. We're one of the only assets that have put people in profits on the chain. But it will be nice when there is other value flowing in, not specifically for pTGC and UFO, more specifically to just expose themselves to PulseChain. But then once they get here, they start exposing themselves to what good products exist on this chain, right?
Yeah. How much did you say has that you've seen come into the grays?
I've easily seen millions of dollars flow over that bridge to get into pTGC and UFO.
How come this is my first time hearing about this? I must have forgotten to ask you.
Yeah, I think it's
cool.
pretty obvious, just to where our price has gone. At one time we were a 300 plus million market cap token. So, and the crazy thing about millions in crypto, millions isn't really even that much money.
Oh yeah.
But I think that's fractions of what we will actually see when this product evolves from more of a speculative play, because I still consider it being a speculative play, a play that someone can legitimately put $10,000 and possibly turn it into $1 million plus due to it being still undervalued, especially due to PulseChain's undervaluedness and the possibility of PulseChain going on 100,000, 10,000 possibly X run, maybe not this cycle, but combo of cycles. So crazy amount of X is still in the game. But as it kind of grows, and this is very similar to Bitcoin and Ethereum, when Bitcoin and Ethereum first came out, people weren't bringing in millions of dollars to get Bitcoin, right? It was still a speculative asset at that point. But what it's evolved to over time is it's evolved into a premier store of value. And as pTGC and UFO evolved into a premier store of value, when the liquidity goes from a $20 million liquidity web to a $2 billion liquidity web, that would be 100x on PulseChain. When the market caps go from 20 million and 100 million to into the billions, right? Users and, longer flawless operation, growing community, more supply decreasing, trustless APY, all the features that, the community is in pTGC for, people will most likely, what I'm speculating and what I have, what I believe pTGC can become is people will bring millions of dollars specifically to PulseChain to get into pTGC. Not together, I mean like individuals. Wealthy people will want to expose themselves to pTGC's code. And the cool thing about it being here on PulseChain and not being tied to centralized exchanges that are connected straight to USDC, or not USDC, USD, or other fiat currencies, by it being behind PulseChain, they have to actually go into PulseChain first. So they actually have to increase the value of the whole entire network, everything on the network, because if $1 million came in today, for an example, if $1 million came in to just get pTGC today, it would move PulseChain up probably 50%, which then would move everything on chain up roughly 50%. And then we would obviously get an X multiplier by that value coming into our specific asset. But my point is, by us being a trustless system with APY, the reasons why we believe people will store value in pTGC a product that we believe a lot of people are looking for, it's going to increase the value of the whole entire chain.
Okay.
This is good for everyone.
Yeah. Well, now that I know that Millions has already come across and not even gotten into anything else but pTGC, I'm going to make it my goal to do multiples of that. I want to bring a lot of people over into pTGC. I mean, no coiners or from other chains.
Yeah, I think especially no coiners, I think pTGC is a product a lot of these people are looking for, right? A lot of brand new people into crypto, they want to be in a speculative asset, but they also want to be in something that's robust, something that's tested, something with a full community, something that has price appreciation still in it. Like, they don't want something that's tapped out at the top of its S curve. They want X's too. This is kind of like the idea of PulseChain in general. Like, even on the front of these marketing devices, it literally talks about how, hey, if you got into Ethereum when it first came out, it was 31 cents. Now it's almost 5,000. Like, PulseChain is pretty much the next gen of this. We've improved a few things. Supply is scarcer, etc. Well, I also think pTGC is a product that these people are looking for. I think they're looking for a place with self-custody. They might not even really know it yet because they need to educate themselves, but self-custody, built-in APY, enough liquidity for big players to enter in and out. If you want whales to come into your system, you need to have enough liquidity for them to even play. No whale is going to swim into a fish tank that can't even hold their own mass, right? That smaller fish tank is for smaller fish. You need a massive fish tank for whales and, large sea creatures, big players in the industry. So we're creating the environment that we believe that they want. We believe that they want deflationary scarce systems, strong communities, large burnt liquidity webs, everything that we kind of believe in pTGC for. And the next step, I think, is PulseChain needs to confirm that it's not going lower and that we are starting a bull market over here, because there is risk still here on PulseChain. Very large players don't like to risk too much. They're very similarly, I look at like how exchanges are. Like, a lot of people think, why don't exchanges pick up PulseChain at such a discount? Right? But it's like, well, exchanges aren't in the game of making gains off of buying undervalued tokens. They're in the game of picking up tokens that have tons of volume in communities, because they generate revenue off of money flowing in and out. There's no money flowing in and out of undervalued tokens because no one wants them yet. That's just not what their business is, right? They're not in the game of buying undervalued tokens and riding them up. They've done very well doing that with like Bitcoin and Ethereum, but that's not actually what they're looking for. They're making their money on the transactions. We make money on transactions too. It's the same kind of business model. But I think big players are the same way, right? Yeah, they're willing to speculate a little bit, but they more are looking for the true reversal to come. They don't mind buying a little bit higher if they have confirmation that it's not dead,
Yeah. You don't want to be buying a dead asset unless you know it's going to go up.
There's exit liquidity, right? They want to see the value flowing in with them. They don't want to see, as they're entering in, value flowing out, because they know that the liquidity is just being taken from them. They want to be swimming in the same direction as the current, right? They want to see value flowing in with them.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a fair point. Jim Horton asks, could Zen explain again what the DAO will do once we are closer to the top of the bull regarding the liquidity pools? Thanks.
Yeah, so nothing's set in stone, but as of right now, what me and some of the larger community members that are very much active with the DAO, et cetera, have talked about is we plan on doing decent sized liquidity pools with stables, so we can actually tie ourselves to higher points in the market. Very much when you're at bottoms, you want to be paired with assets that are moving up. And when you're at tops, you want to pair with assets that aren't going down. Stable coins don't go down in the bear market. So we want to actually get a lot of liquidity with stable coins when we're closer to the top. We are probably going to take some of the more speculative assets that aren't burnt and swap some of those over to stables to help get those pools a little bit bigger. Also, what we're probably going to do is hold some of the funds, just like how we kind of hold some of them right now in our management wallet in stables, so we can rebuy back what we believe will be the pTGC low after this bull market. So it makes very little sense to just keep injecting money while it's coming down. It makes more sense to take the value that we have, swap it over the stables, wait for the asset to come down, and then rebuy back the asset at lower values to kind of re-spark up the next bull market for our specific token. But yeah, just getting more liquidity with stable coins near the top. It's not going to only hedge us against the downtrends. More liquidity with stables near the top is going to help fight the liquidity that we have with the assets that do move down, because Hart's law does work in both directions. Obviously, we all know that. We've been bonded to tokens pretty much going down for the last 2 years. Hopefully now going back up. And what else?
Bitcoin, Ethereum.
Oh yeah. So maybe looking at some more legacy assets like Bitcoin and Ethereum when the discounts on PulseChain have drastically disappeared. Also, one thing to keep in mind when we are able to pair with stables, which we're able to now, but it just doesn't make much sense because they're anchors to the bottom. But when we do start to pair stable coins at higher levels, what this is going to be for the pTGC machine, to me, is a whole nother revenue source that we've yet to be able to tap into. I think it's going to be very profitable for our ecosystem because usually the market moves together, right? When PLS is rising, you'll see Hex rise, PulseX rise. So you're not getting a ton of arbitrage opportunity there. But with a stable pool, it's never rising or falling with the rest of the market. So we should be able to get a lot of value generation off of this pair as well, since it's not ever moving with the rest of the market. Because everything in liquidity is bonded. When Pulse moves up, it moves everything up. When Hex moves up, everything's kind of getting dragged up by Hex because a lot of things are bonded with Hex. So that's why all markets kind of move together. Stable coins don't move with the markets. So it's going to be an amazing value generation source for our ecosystem. I think this is actually going to be a huge catalyst to value generation for our ecosystem moving forward. For me, it's not worth it at the bottoms because we're going to be giving up gains, right? And we want to get as many gains as possible. But when we do that on the upside, what we're going to be giving up is retracement, which everyone's going to be stoked about, right? Like, hey, we're getting less retracement and earning a bunch of revenue. This is awesome. So that's one thing that's kind of in the pTGC system that we've yet to even get in the scene yet. That's part of the plan, part of its design. Just like part of its design is being paired with a blockchain that has done very little X's that we think is going to go up. This is part of the design that we've yet to even really get to see. We've seen small glimpses of it. We've seen Pulse go up like 4 or 5x, and that really turned on the machine in the past. We've seen our liquidity expand to like $40 million of a liquidity web very quickly. But we've never gotten to see it like really, really start to get large. We've never gotten to see actual new users starting to really flow into this blockchain like we saw with Hex 4 or 5 years ago. These are all features that have been specifically planned out in pTGC's design that we've yet to really get to see like firing like on all 5 cylinders. We've gotten tiny glimpses of it, and every time we've gotten glimpses of it, I've been beyond impressed on how well the machine actually operates. But these are a few things that I think our community gets to look forward to in the future. The revaluation of our price, the revaluation of our liquidity, the revaluation of our APY, our value generation, our buy and burns daily, our DAO filling up value-wise, but then also the ability we're going to have once prices get higher to then start actually pairing with stable coins and using those stable coins as another real good form of value generation.
Yep, I'm looking forward to it. And one of the reasons I want to have a longer cycle is I want more opportunity for not only myself, but everybody in the ecosystem to earn more rewards. And not only, well, like reflection rewards, staking rewards, but also locking rewards. I want to give people ample opportunity if they need to, if they feel the impulse to early end locks and reward all the other lockers, I think a nice long extended cycle would help facilitate a lot of a lot of token distribution. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. If we get a bull market and let's say we go up 10x, 20x, and those levels and 30x and 40x, and those time frames are actually extended for decent periods of time. So unlike like if we had a fast wick up and then a fast wick down in a period of like 4 months, 5 months, yeah, there'd be tons of volatility in that short time period. But if we were able to extend that bull market even longer, like you said, like, hey, if we're able to see a 1 year bull market to where it goes up 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, but that time frame is like expanded out, that's more time for our system to onboard, generate revenue, do buy and burns, add LP, and increase our holder count during an extended bull market. This would be amazing for pTGC and UFO. Is it guaranteed? Absolutely not. It could be very, very quick. I look at the Hex chart, right? I look at Hex being very, very quick. The run up of Hex was only like a 3 to 4 solid month run from a penny to 40 cents. And then it came down for another 4 or 5 months, right? But think about how many people were onboarded in that time period. I kind of go back to, I think that the increase in community in that time period was probably around 20 to 50x. Imagine if that time period was even longer.
I would love that. I would really, really like to have a longer cycle. And I think we're going to have one. Honestly, I do.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Either way, I think it's good for pTGC and UFO if it's quick. Then a retracement starts, and I think new community members will be coming in. Existing community members will either be taking profits, some will be leaving completely, some will be partially leaving. Like, we know this industry, we don't need to sugarcoat it. Some people come, some people go. But the machine is constantly getting stronger. And I think what we are really excited about is to just see what this machine does at higher levels. So we have those data points to really work off of, be able to get those stable coin liquidity pools at higher levels, and then just see where this retracement after this bull market into the next bear, where does PulseChain even land, right? Is it 10x higher than here? Is it 20x higher than here? Is it 30x higher than here? Like, these are all questions that I'm kind of wondering. Like, even landing 10x higher from here, pTGC is sitting in a really, really good spot. That's a billion plus market cap. That's maybe close to 50 to 100 million in liquidity. Definitely over 100 million if you combine UFO and pTGC. The amount of tokens that are going to get bought and burnt in that amount of time will be great to see. The amount of liquidity we add, the amount of APY. Like, these are going to give us a lot of KPI points or a lot of data points to work off of going into next bear to educate people on, and then help us make educated predictions for the next bull market.
Yeah.
I just feel like we've been in this stage right now for longer than expected. So me personally, I'm excited to see the next stage. Not so much that obviously price goes up makes anyone feel good, but I'm excited to see the protocol actually turn on, because we've gotten a little glimpse of it at times. I think the last time we got a decent little glimpse was the all-time high. Well, that's like 8 months ago now, right? PulseChain's been going downwards for pretty much 8 months. It's been down for 8 months. So I've been able to see what it can do at these low periods, and I'm beyond happy with what it can do at these low periods. I want to see again what it does at these high periods. with new users actually coming into PulseChain. Even with the price action that we've seen the last 2 years on PulseChain going up, the amount of new users that were onboarded in that time isn't a crazy amount, especially that there was like an even amount of value leaving. So even though a few new users were brought in, old users were kind of leaving. Like, I want to see the kind of increase in holders that we saw 5 years ago with Hex, and what that does not only to pTGC and UFO as far as increasing value specifically in our assets, but even if these new users aren't specifically coming into pTGC and UFO, if they're landing in Most, or if they're landing in PulseX, Hex, PDI, whatever they land in, what we've seen in the past is all these things increase the value of pTGC and UFO. And I'm excited to see how powerful that actually is. And if it's as powerful as I think it's going to be, I think a lot of people are going to be like, how did I not take advantage of that dip at a 100 million cap?
Yeah.
2 years into the protocol.
Oh, there's going to be a lot of regrets. I think either way we cut the cheese. Slice the bread, whatever you want to call it. I think there's going to be a lot of regrets. Even from people that have been here a long time and have been dollar cost averaging. I think it's going to be crazy. Potentially, not financial advice. I'm doing a graph for Paul on ChatGPT. He's having me do a little bit of homework. And Tommy Bybee asks, he says, quick question. When I go on to the pTGC website, it says rewards for holding pTGC. And I have quite a lot of rewards for just holding, but there isn't a claim rewards button. Could you clear that up for me? Thanks. Appreciate all you do for the ecosystem. Tommy, it's probably what you're seeing on the DApp is your reflection rewards. I'm guessing that your tokens aren't staked. If they're staked, then there will be staking rewards, which you can then claim. But your reflections, which you earn for simply holding pTGC or UFO, go straight into your wallet. You don't need to claim them. So let me know if that didn't answer your question. Polygon says, we have to be careful not to pair with stables too soon. The bull might have a double bubble. Yeah, and I hear that from another influencer that I listen to. He thinks there's going to be 2 significant run-ups.
Yeah, definitely not pairing with stables too soon. The nice thing about stables compared to price appreciating assets is people kind of need to remember the assets that are increasing do become your alpha pools. So even if we pair with stables, if our other LP pools are just increasing and increasing, those stable pools will never really have that drastic effect once things really start going, and once these current LP pools really start to increase in value, right? Like, a lot of the liquidity we have is not grown because the assets that are in them have gone up. They've grown because we've gone up and we've added to them. So once the assets that we're bonded to actually start working in the right direction, even if we start LPing a little bit too early, like, for that LP pool to come even close to catching up with all of our other LP, we do have to kind of hit that in a range consistently, right? You're never going to make an LP pool that catches up to our other ones overnight, just in a weekend, you know?
Right. A-Train says, is the DAO able to use the funds to invest in yield-bearing projects to generate other streams of revenue to bring back to pTGC?
I definitely think it can. It would have to be, in my opinion, a very good yield-bearing avenue, preferably with self-custody, which there's not a lot of. The one thing that's super nice about the pTGC system is by creating liquidity pools, that pool is technically a yield-bearing system for our ecosystem, right? Most tokens do not have the ability to earn yield off of their liquidity because their liquidity isn't actually working for them. To where when we put up liquidity, since we have the fee in between each pair, we actually get to earn yield off of those liquidity pools. So for us to make the decision to chase a different yield-bearing protocol that we believe is better than what the system is built behind it, it would take a lot. A lot because self-custody is a really big thing to me. With large amounts of money, giving up custody is difficult, I think, especially in a protocol like this, because it's not a single entity's value, it's everyone's value. And I do think buy and burns and LP ads have actually been a very good use of value that the whole entire community agrees on, being a great decision. And that's one difficult thing about a large community kind of making the decision, is you kind of need to land in a spot that almost everyone is happy with. You can't go too far left or too far right, because, some people don't agree with that. Some people might not agree with putting it in some staking protocol that's offering this and that. Well, if that staking protocol ends up having a smart contract hack or something and all the funds get bad, well, who are they going to look at? Where I feel like putting value in like PulseX DEX or just buy and burns of the asset is a very robust, safe way to utilize the funds.
Sure.
But it's definitely not out of the question.
Yeah, but Zen, let's just break it down, right? I mean, you don't create revenue out of osmosis and thin air. There's only so many legitimate places that you can actually take money and make money on a blockchain where you aren't giving up your keys and your custody. And validation is awesome, but it is very nominal in yield when you're talking about, trying to make revenue in comparison to the amount of revenue that's generated by creating LPs, pairing them with pTGC and that 5% fee that's coming in. So even if we had a bunch of validators, if you take that same exact amount of capital and you put it towards LPs like we have, the amount of pulse that's going to be generated is going to massively outperform the amount of pulse that would be generated by taking that same exact revenue and putting it in some kind of a validator. If you try to go into somebody else's yield farm or something like that, the APYs are always high and then they die, right? And you have to literally give up your keys in all these things to try to generate that revenue. So the system really does, I agree with Zan, the system is designed in a way where the amount of capital that you put into whatever that product is to generate revenue, if you look at the options, the best option is in an LP because you have self-custody, you own the assets, it's volume-based, and the 5% fee on a daily basis always generates more revenue than, like, if, for example, a 10% APY, right? So, I mean, even a validator, I think validating today with 32 million pulse locked up, I think you're earning, it's been as low as like 10,000 a day up to maybe 80,000 pulse a day. So the system is generating way more money with 32 million pulse in an LP than in validating, for example.
And on top of that, that's also giving the pTGC assets more value backing it as well, right? Because now there's more value in LP for the holders of the assets, to where if it wasn't an LP and it was just in a validator somewhere, that those tokens technically aren't backing the asset that the holders are holding. It's just in another revenue source. And if you're validating, there is a little bit of upkeep on it. Like it's not like you just do nothing, right? You have to kind of pay attention and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you got to pay attention. You got to have uptime. You got to not want to, you can get slashed. You can, and if you're not doing that, you're hoping that whoever else is doing it's doing the same thing. So it's it's definitely all over the place. But I'll tell you just flat out, if you take the exact amount of capital and you put it in whatever category you're looking at, by far for a blue chip, it's best in the LPs. That's where the community's money's protected. That's where the system is generating the most amount of money, and that's where it will generate the most amount of money by far once PulseChain starts to actually see some volume on chain.
Yeah, that's a good point, right? We still have yet to get to see the power of what that liquidity could actually do in a situation where PulseChain actually has a new user base flowing in, when there's good volatility to the upside even, right? I kind of was talking about the other day that we've seen volatility a lot of times, but sadly it's been like volatility to the downside, right? We were like 40% down on the day when the Interpol thing came out. We made great value on that day because of the volatility and the volume, but sadly it was with price moving down. But there is going to be days at some point where we're getting volatility like that, when the whole entire blockchain, PulseChain, is up large amounts, or I hope these days come. I guess it's not guaranteed, but we're getting those crazy. But it's also with price appreciation, right? And that'll be a super awesome thing to see, because one thing a lot of people don't realize is when we get volatility and volume to the downside, the liquidity is shrinking as the money's moving. So literally market makers are having to move less and less and less as they're fixing the prices, as it goes lower and lower and lower. Well, when prices go up, 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 and the market makers are having to move assets around to fix, if they keep moving up, they're going to have to just move more and more and more and more, and it starts compounding, growing and growing. These are the things that we've yet to really get to see with the pTGC ecosystem. And just knowing how all these things function, it's going to be super awesome to see. But, we're just waiting for that time to come, obviously doing what we can to help, onboarding, educating, believing, but good things don't happen overnight.
Yep. Most times, good things don't happen overnight. Well, who else wants to come forward and chat? Who's got a comment or a question? There have been a lot of questions on YouTube this evening, so I really appreciate that. And by the way, guys, if you can't see the comments on YouTube, people are appreciative for the answers, Zen and Mando.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm glad that we were able to answer them correctly.
Yep. Well, what else is happening? Is there any? Has RH been tweeting at all?
He posted the mailer the other day. I saw that. It looked like I don't know if I was correct there. I didn't double check, but it looked like they adjusted the wordage a little bit on the label on the front.
Okay.
It sounded a little different. Maybe I was just kind of losing my mind here, but it sounded cleaner to me, like they kind of went through it a few times and readjusted it, and it seemed to flow a lot better.
All right. That's how life goes. You do a little test run, then you back up, make some adjustments, and then do another one. And life,
I think they were just trying to get those things, just start getting them out the door, right? So they probably went through it a few times. We're like, hey, this is good for now. We'll keep readjusting it until we get it perfect. But we need to start pushing these out the door because there's more coming.
Yeah. Ricky Reyes Fitness Project says, there's no way a man will spend millions in logistics, shipping, product tablet warehouse postage for the price to remain as it is. There has to be an incoming God candle. I agree. Agreed. It'll happen. We just got to work. We got to work at it.
Yeah, you're doing your thing for it.
Mm-hmm.
How's that going?
It's a learning process. Oh man, like I said on Saturday Spaces, I'm not going to give away my secret sauce, but we have tools nowadays that make life so much easier. They can make like video editing and video creation, scripts, keeping your eyes on the camera, all that stuff can be it can be done with them, practically done with a machine, to the point that, and I'm really not interested in this, but I've seen where you can upload like, I don't know, 30 seconds of yourself talking, and then AI will replicate you, and you can just put in the script from AI, and then it will create a video of you talking to an audience. I'm really not interested in that, but everything is just so easy. I just make use of a template. I am literally using a template and just putting a little topic in there, and it gives me everything I need. Let's put it that way. It gives me everything I need, except it does not give me, the AI does not give me the skill to be a good TikToker or a good Twitter or YouTuber. That has to come from experience and study. So I'm studying it. And by the way, I was going to mention earlier, remember last summer and this is 2024, summer of 2024, when I was saying that Twitter wants to become a video platform, and this whole time I've been waiting for Twitter to put something on the homepage on my computer to indicate that it's now doing videos. And I was like, man, this has been a long time. I've been waiting for this. So I looked it up on Grok, and they're like, oh, it's over on your mobile device, and it's right here. So that's something I'm going to explore once I've gotten better at TikTok, is how to leverage Twitter for videos. But maybe it's not even a good idea, but I want to look at it. But just so you know, that actually did happen. It's on the mobile devices, and Twitter literally wants to own the market.
Yeah, I would like for Twitter to own the market, since we already have a following there. So yeah, if other people just came into Twitter and they started using it kind of like how they use TikTok and stuff like that, I think that would be good for us because we got a head start. Yeah.
But I want to get a part of the TikTok market too. Because we all know that, generally speaking, people coming into crypto are going to come off of YouTube, maybe even TikTok, maybe some Instagram, Facebook. They don't all come into Twitter right away. And some are actually going to come off of Twitter, but I'm already on Twitter. I'm on YouTube. I'm going to try to get into the TikTok market, but has to be, I think that needs to be the extent of my reach, is those three platforms, because it's a lot. It's doable, but it is a lot,
Definitely.
And the only way that really works is because you can and you do want to keep your videos short on those three platforms, the 30-second videos. So I'll just create one video and pop it up on all three sites. I just need to figure out how to do it the best. Like you guys have seen on my TikTok, maybe, like I don't have a header and there really needs to be a header. I just learned that this evening. So my subsequent videos will have a header on them at least, so that when somebody is watching it for the first 3 seconds, they can see what the topic is, But,
yeah, I think definitely catchy first 3 seconds. I think maybe try a few different narratives of what you're talking about and what people like, and you'll probably be able to see view count increase or decrease and be like, okay, that kind of people liked that, what I was talking about there compared to what I was talking about here, and maybe that helps guide you in a direction. I feel like with social media, sometimes you just got to try a few different things and see what hits, and then go with that.
Yeah.
And then if you're kind of working in a direction and you feel like you aren't getting much traction, it's probably good to, pivot and try something a little bit different. See if you get traction there, pivot again, and until something seems to kind of work for you.
Yep.
Obviously, you still want to get your message out, but there's probably different workarounds for the same thing. Kind of like how I was saying, it's like you have some videos going out right now where you are talking about, hey, you find this? Like, this is cool. Follow me, come into my Telegram, like I'll help you out. And then maybe every third one you're doing hey, these just started coming out for fun, or maybe, just because I put some money in this exact time to go on the journey with you guys, right? And today it's not too fun, right? It's less than yesterday, but maybe 2 months from now, you'll be able to say, hey, when these first started going out, I threw $1,000 in or $100 in, and now it's worth 1,000. Or, obviously you could just use the UFO Journey wallet. Hey, this was put in a year ago. It's currently up 4x. If someone runs across that and they say, hey, this wallet was made $30K, obviously that's out of a lot of people's price range, but they can do the math. If they put $3K in, they'd be at $12K. Now, let's be honest, there isn't a lot of traditional investments out there where you can turn $3K into $12K pretty much doing nothing. And the people who are willing to do that just don't even know it exists at this point.
Yeah.
Or they think it's too risky.
Yep. I'll just practice until I get it better. You got to start somewhere.
Oh, I think they're good.
Cool. We'll just keep doing it. Well,
yeah, they were doing something right. We've gotten this project from 50K market cap to 300 mil at one point. So I definitely know we're working in the right direction.
Yes, we are. Oh, I was going to say the PulseChain help desk that Crypto Stylist and I did on Saturday. I took your suggestion, and like before we went live, I posted in all the telegrams that I'm in and on my X account and the main account. And as of this morning, it had over 10,000 impressions, which was very good for a longer video. It was only like 30 minutes, but still, I was impressed with 10,000 impressions. So I think that's gonna work to one degree or another to bring people over into our ecosystem.
Yeah, that's a lot more than I would have thought.
Mm-hmm.
That's really good. And I think that will help, the YouTube algorithm as well, because when people search that up, we have to be somewhat relative for YouTube to put that to the top for them to even find. You know what I mean? They're not going to type in the exact wordage of your video. So if we can't get these videos kind of ranking a little bit higher, they're probably never even going to find it if they're typing in LCD tablet, this or that. We need to be ranking somewhat good.
Yeah. Remember how I told you that TikTok sends content to everybody that doesn't follow you first? What YouTube does is it sends content to everybody that does follow you, and it kind of does a little acid test. Okay, did they click the like? Did they make a comment? Did they watch it all the way through? And if it passes that, then they start sending it to try to pick up, to new viewers, to try to pick up more subscribers for you. So that's why it's important that, everybody like a video, make a comment if you can, but then, don't quit halfway through. If it's a crypto video, especially on PulseChain, especially pTGC, once you start, you know, you really kind of need to watch it all the way through. If you can, it helps. It helps the algorithm. And the algorithm isn't some people behind a computer somewhere. It's a machine. There's not really anything we can do about it. We just got to work with it. You know, we can't call a help desk and get Google to increase the views of our videos.
Yep, just learning how to use the tool. We'll get better at using it every day.
Yeah. Yipper.
So while you were talking, I was skimming on Richard's Twitter to see if there's anything interesting there. The only thing I really found was from 2 days ago. He was just talking about TVs and that he doesn't like how high quality the HDR is or something like that.
Right, I saw that.
And I don't know. I just think it's cool that he's talking about the candles blinding you.
Yeah.
Or who's talking about candles blinding who?
Richard.
What, did he do that today?
I think that was Sunday.
2 days ago.
Oh, jeez. Well, Richard, stop talking about blinding candles, bro. Please.
He was talking about HDR, some kind of TV that he watches. But if you read between the lines, he's probably talking about crypto. That's what we all speculate, anyhow.
Yeah, that's what we hope he's talking about.
Yeah, we hope.
I mean,
True.
I really don't care about the TV too much, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I don't care about no TV. Give me some money, they can buy me a bunch of TVs. That's a terrible way to put it, but you know what I mean. Let's get the chain moving.
Well, you guys have anything you want to wrap up with? Any conversations? If not, I'd say maybe we'll call it a little bit early tonight.
Shaq O'Neal wants realistic price predictions, and I don't think you're going to get them on this channel.
I think our price predictions are realistic. You know, it just factors. You have to decide yourself how high you think PulseChain's going to go, how many people you think are going to get onboarded, how much value you think is going to come over from this marketing push. The numbers that we ran with the marketing push being remotely successful, with the onboarding of our community, with Green Candles onboarding people tend to forget that what Hex did 5 years ago was with, again, like a 20 to 50 times smaller community. Look how much value came into Hex. Millions and millions of dollars daily for months. Our community is now 20 to 50 times larger. To me, I think the community just needs a little bit of a, I hate to put it this way, but I've used it a few times, is I think the community has came to work, not collected a paycheck, no tools to even do the job, and they're looking at a trench kind of being told to dig it with their bare hands. But I think as soon as we get tossed a few tools, we get a paycheck, you know, and not saying like we need to cash it out or anything, but just seeing our own portfolios increase, or the community's portfolios increase a little bit, and having the tools like Green Candles to showcase, etc. I think a lot of people are going to come out of the woodworks to grind for PulseChain. And again, you know, look at how much value got onboarded last cycle with no LCD marketing campaign, with no massive sacrifice funds, with it's got its own blockchain, with 20 to 50 times the community members grinding.
Yep.
it's definitely something I wouldn't underestimate for sure.
What's up, boys? Jumping in.
What's up, Trevor?
What up, man? What's going on, brother?
Living, dude. Living. No, Gray, I totally agree with you, man. I think I actually, like Mando, I took a little time off. Like, I kind of been, and I'm not going to sit here and act like I took a ton of time off, but took like 4 or 5 days off of the internet and my phone and all that kind of stuff, whatever, just a short stint. And coming back, it's crazy, dude. I'm just like listening to the space. I've been listening to some other spaces or whatever. And sorry, but it really puts it in perspective as to how small we really are, you know, as a community. And man, I got to be honest, dude. I think we're in kind of a little bit of a lull right now, and then things are going to start picking up. I don't know, man. I don't really even know why I jumped up here other than just to be an encourager. And, you know, Mando, I will say, Mando, the other day, dude, listen, I gotta give you props, dude. The other day on B-Root's stream, when he had his open mic, I don't know what you'd call that, but like an open mic thing or whatever. So well put. You explained a lot of the frustrations in the community really, really well, because I think that's like an open dialogue. There's nothing wrong with talking about that, you know? And I think you did a great job, man. So, yeah, I don't know. We're in this weird time, and rate cuts are about to happen. Let's see what happens there. You know, Ethereum, I remember last month, like, believing that Ethereum was going to kind of calm out this month, and then we'll see kind of Bitcoin dominance prevail for a couple of months. But I don't know. Thought I'd just jump up here and say, hang in there, man. Hang in there. At least for a couple of months, dude. It's going to be a good one. So that's my honest opinion. So nice to hear from you guys. I swear to God, every time I jump up here, I give a speech and nobody says anything.
You know, it's nice to hear from you too, Trevor.
Dude,
We're all just speechless.
No, dude, I don't know. Sometimes, like, come on, man. Let's be honest, dude. Like, hold on, let me look. What is this? 25 people. 25 people in this space, bro. Come on, man. We've had PTGC spaces with 150, 200 plus people.
Yep, we sure have.
Like,
not long
dude,
ago either.
Like, exactly, dude. So let's not cut the shit, dude. Like, things are down right now.
Yep.
People aren't participating. You know, and sometimes you just got to jump in and give somebody some encouragement. And that's kind of what I try to do.
It's interesting, Trevor. To be honest, though, man. Truth is, even though, in quotes, the chain's down, if you've been participating on the chain, you absolutely should not be down. You should be killing it.
Totally.
Okay, so it's in the perspective. Sorry for the background. I'm in the gym, but it's having proper perspective.
You're good.
If you've been in pTGC since the beginning, you potentially have made millions of dollars. For many people in crypto, I don't give a damn what chain they're on. They wish to God they made $100,000 this cycle. So you've got to put reality in perspective of where you are and what your goals are, right? PulseChain has been a phenomenal opportunity for people that have been active on the blockchain, looking
100%.
for amazing things.
100%. And to your point, dude, I know you're at the gym, but you said something, I got to be honest, man, it struck a chord with me, like in a really good way, When you were talking on the Crypto Kings YouTube, whatever video the other day.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, dude, I gotta say, Mando, seriously, dude, like, you so well articulated, so well spoken, so well explained. There was no disrespect. It was, and if you're listening to me right now, I highly recommend you go listen to that. Mando, you did a great job of explaining about like how a lot of us feel right now. And And as somebody that is, dude, Mando, you know, I'm open to the fact that, or I'm sorry, I'm very open in regards to the fact that I've been, you know, I was like a super maxi guy, just like hodling my bags and all that. And then while these, you know, so I missed out.
Until you met our crew.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, exactly. I missed out.
And then you started making money.
100%, dude. 100%. And I mean, it's not like you know, he wouldn't care. Whatever. This entire weekend, I had an amazing weekend, and I spent it with a friend of ours, and we talked, and you know, he's heavily involved in PulseChain and gave me a lot of perspective, and dude, I just think we're in like kind of a down moment right now. We've been here before. Go look at the charts. Go look at after PDI when that thing dropped 90% or whatever it was, 80%, and then it rallied all the way back up, and now we're coming back down. And we rallied back up, and we're coming back down. There's nothing wrong with it. So I don't know, man. I guess sometimes I like to be that voice of reason that just like, you know, comes in these spaces and hopefully speaks encouragement into some people. But I gotta say, Mando, your speech on that thing the other day was really awesome, dude. I really appreciate the honesty because that's the way a lot of people are feeling, and myself included. And that doesn't mean that you're not a Richard Hart believer. That doesn't mean that you don't believe in the tokens. It doesn't mean, like, it's just simple facts and it's truth, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I think,
well, you know, yeah. I have to admit, you know, that when he started that, he did the invite, you know, that's coming off the Charlie basically just had that happen, who I followed a lot, and he's a brother in Christ of mine, and I was very up to the neck in it. But to be honest, everything I said was just reality, man. And I'm not living in a delusion on PulseChain. You're going to make more money if you're living in reality than if you're living in a delusion. So it's a lot better to make choices to make money for your family when you're living in reality.
100%, man. That one, I will say, man, that's the Charlie thing hit very close to home for me as well. I've actually have worked with Charlie's team before. I've worked with a lot of people close to him, and I've been kind of in talks with a lot of those friends since that happened. And I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. So God be with his family for sure. But yeah, man, I think we're on the cusp of something though. Like I said, man, rate cuts are around the corner. There's something to be said. And I love pTGC, but at the same time, I'm going to kind of be aware to the overall market. And rate cuts are around the corner. Hopefully next month's a better month. But no, man, I just, like I always do, wanted to jump up here and speak some encouragement because I love y'all and I love pTGC. I think it's going to do some amazing things, man. So.
Yeah, Trevor, that how you're talking about, we've been lower than here, we've been higher than here, and obviously the chain's kind of bounced up and down, but the one silver lining to that bouncing up and down is the pTGC machine is just generating revenue off of it. It's buying, burning supply off of it. It's getting LP added to that main LP pool off of it. The DAO is getting filled up off of it. A great example of that is just 2 days ago, EHEX went on a random massive move. Some people still heavily exposed to EHEX. Some people don't have a lot of EHEX left. But by holding pTGC and UFO, you're actually exposed to some of the gains in a diversified portfolio way. But then also those gains and then retracement actually fed the pTGC and UFO machine. It added to the buy and burn of pTGC, added to the buy and burn of UFO, helped pay rewards, increased volume overall. So even though EHEX went up and then kind of came right back down the following day, maybe not as low, but it retraced. This is what the pTGC and UFO machine thrive off of, and it kind of always reminds me to just go back to the basics of what pTGC and UFO are, and they've literally found a way to monetize the only guarantee that markets can provide you, just up and down movements forever.
Totally. It's so well put, man. And if that is very well put. And if you rode that dip, man, from what was it, mid-February, all the way down to I think it was the end of March, and then you watch the 1, 2, like 3 little pumps beyond there. Like, this thing has so much legs left in it. It is the machine just keeps on working. So I would just encourage everyone to just sit put and enjoy your position. Try and, for me, I am adding to my position. If you're ever having your days of whatever, man, go look at the chart. It just keeps doing its thing. Man.
Yep.
So, yeah, totally.
Yeah, thanks for coming up. Add to the conversation.
Totally. Are you choking? Are you
I am. I'm trying to shovel down my dinner at the same time. The chip got me.
I'm messing with you, dude. I love it.
The tortilla chip went sideways down my throat, slicing the inside.
Isn't that wonderful?
And also, hey, I'll say Prairie, dude, respect, man. Those videos, the new onboarding videos, great job, dude. Seriously, great job. Like, I love them. I love them.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Hopefully they get a lot better. Now, this is a good comment from Steven. He mentions TikTok. He says, so far, a lot of the new entrants in crypto have TikTok brains. If the crypto doesn't move in the first few weeks, they lose patience. A lot of people have limited financial education too.
Dude, that's such a good point, man.
Isn't it?
Such a great point. A lot of these guys are jumping in on a Monday and they're out by Friday. But no, like your videos have been great, man. Actually, I got a little text here. I got a little text the other day in regards to the devices, and it looks like, man, look, it looks like there's a lot of these son of a guns going out. Which, if you want some real deep input, go follow Crypto Coffee. He talked about a lot of this, but dude, I'm still in massive belief that these devices are going to have a huge impact. So
you're gonna have those things going out for months.
They're going to be going out until the end of the year, and there's probably roughly 1.1 million devices, which is unheard of. Like, when you're talking about like a technology or a technological device campaign, like, it's unheard of. It's insane. Yeah. So, and through the end of the year, that's a whole lot. That's a lot. That's a whole lot. So, I don't know, man. It's just funny, dude. And these little dips, it's funny. Specifically, like, I'm just gonna be honest. Specifically in the pTGC space, I pay attention. I look at the count. Like, right now, we got 31 people in here. 31 people, dude. I can fit 31 people in my house. That's not a lot of people, man. And then there's been times where we have 200 plus, 300 plus, and I think it's such a good signal as to where we're at. And after being here 2-3 times now with 20, 30 people, and we're all just kumbayaing each other, and that it's important. Don't get me wrong, you need that. But like, after 2-3 times of that, man, you're just like, you're invincible. Like, you realize, like, this is a really amazing product. And Gray, kudos, dude. Like, it's going to do fantastic things in a full-fledged pool when PulseChain is running. But sometimes I got to snap myself out, back to reality. MJ, I see you unmuted, man. You can take the mic, bro.
Kumbaya. That's funny. What's up, MJ? What you got, man? Or did you just hit the button by accident?
Yeah, I hit the button. I'm just listening.
I knew you did.
What's up, man? No, good time on the bus, man. Over at Vegas.
What's up, brother? Oh, for sure, man. Good to talk to you.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I was just kind of hopping in here and listening. I didn't mean to hit the button, but I do want to agree with what he said. As far as you got to kind of be contrarian. I mean, 30 people in here, in my opinion, the best product, not only in PulseChain, but in crypto. And I don't know, I'm a rookie. I've only been around for 4 or 5 years, but it's you see it over and over. The best value is is often where most people don't see it yet.
Yep.
And I think that's where we are. You gotta, and it's not only with crypto, it's with business, it's with everything. You gotta have a contrarian mindset and understand one of the biggest skill sets you can have is seeing value where others don't. And when I explain that in business, when I explain that in any other venture, I think of pTGC. There's times where I look around and I'm like, are you not seeing what I'm seeing? You're not understanding the opportunity, even with onboards who, hold on, give me 1 second. Baby, can you lower that? Even with onboards that I've had from about a year and a half ago, who are, asking me whether to sell, whether it's over, I'm just like, do whatever you want. Because at this point, if you don't see it, you're not going to. But that rings true. You have to be able to see value where others don't. And in my opinion, this project is it. It's mechanics, it's the way it's lasted, it's up and down, and it just keeps coming back. So my little 2 cents is to everybody in here, you're gonna be rich for a reason. And nobody can say you didn't earn it. But I think hands down the best asset is that. It's the best mental aspect is you're able to see value where others don't, and this embodies that.
Right, you see Moon King's post. Moon King's his post today. I don't know if you saw that, Zen, but I'm looking at that. He doesn't just say stuff, man. He says, in my opinion, every squid in pTGC on PulseChain will be a millionaire.
Mm-hmm.
Things I like to do.
Yeah.
That is not financial advice. Hold 3 positions like this. One, I would sell at a 2 to 5x. The other, I would sell somewhere close to the top as possible. The other, I would have the long-term hold. That way, come bear market, I don't have to have a worry in the world. 1 squid position, 1,020. 3 squid positions, 3,062. The ultimate comfy position at this market cap is a dolphin, $10,270. When pTGC snaps back, and it will, these numbers will be gone fast. So a squid position is $1,000 right now. That's coming from the best TA guy I know in all of crypto.
Dude, big facts. A lot of people, man, I'm telling you, dude, a lot of people don't realize, I got to give props to Moon King, man. He's been through this stuff before, and he smashed it on SHIB. And, he was ahead of the game when it came to the meme coin thing. And we're thankful to have him, for him, shilling this token and believing in it. And we're thankful, very, very, seriously, dude, to see him, backing something like this. I really believe that.
Trevor, let's be real. I remember when we were talking about the meme coins, and he was putting it out there that it's going to be all meme coins right when it launched. PulseChain launched. And everybody was hating like a son of a bitch.
Are you kidding me?
I
hated on it.
And now what is PulseChain? Now what is PulseChain? It's nothing but meme coins.
Exactly, dude. I hated on him. Now he's one of my best buddies, dude. Are you kidding me?
Man. Yeah.
For real, dude. I hated on the guy. Are you kidding me? He's right. And I ain't too proud to sit here and tell you the guy was freaking right. And so there's something to be said, especially not even just about a call, that thing mooned. Okay, great. But look at the mechanics. Look at the mechanics of the token. Why is it mooning? Why is it good? Why is there a community? There's
how to take profits.
Exactly.
How to not take profits.
100%.
When to get in, when to get out.
Totally. So I think, pTGC itself, dude, it has so much, dude. I mean, it's got a lot of legs, and Zen, I can't give you enough credit, man, for making this thing. I'm a proud holder for sure. But I think we got a lot of legs. I just thought I'd hop up here for a minute, man. I know that sometimes it can sound grim, and like I said, there's 30-something people in this space. Sometimes it can.
Trev, let me ask you a question seriously.
Yeah, what's up, dude?
Has the pTGC community ever been grim?
No, never. Not once.
Exactly.
No, it's always been positive. Actually, that's one of the reasons I tell a lot of people about it is you know, and I'll share this right now. I mean, there's, like I said, there's only 30 people here, and they're probably all pTGC holders. But, you know, my I guess intro into pTGC was, I kept seeing it on my timeline. I was like, what in the world is this? How, like, what, like, why is everybody talking about this stupid freaking alien token? Like, what's the deal? And I saw it, and then you and I had connected, and we spent hours. Did we not? We spent hours. And I'm slow. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a slow investor because if I believe in something, I'm gonna go hard. And
that first conversation was legit 3.5 hours.
Yep, absolutely. And we had 2.5 hour calls after that. Finally, I decided to kind of dip my toes in the water, and then I doubled down even more. After I really looked into it, you know, so I don't know, man. But as far as like a grim season, to your point, there's not really been a grim, like, and that's what I loved. The pTGC community was always so positive. May not always be some big rally where everybody's hyped up and stuff, but at least people are cool. At least people are chill. At least people are not going at each other's throats, you know? And I love that, dude, because I'll go on these other spaces. It's no secret, dude. I jump around. I ping pong on these spaces all the time, man. And I'll go toe to toe with any of these guys. But when I come on the pTGC space, like, I don't know, there's like a certain temperature that's set, and I love it. I freaking love it.
Oh, man, it's like going to your boy's house and having a barbecue, man.
Yeah, for real, dude. It's such a breath of fresh air. It is a breath of fresh air. And then that's why I have, honestly, Mando, that's why I have a hard time calling it a meme token. Like, I have a really hard time calling it a meme token because I'm like, dude, it has real use case. You can earn yield. You can do this. You can do that. Gray, a while back, I think you used the term, what was it? Meme-tility or something? I don't even know.
Meme with utility.
Yeah. And I was like, it's like, and I remember being like, dude, that's probably like that makes logical sense. That's like a totally new narrative, you know, something that you love, that you can have a little bit of joy in, but has utility, has a narrative, has a community, has a reason. So that, going back to the original point, when you see guys like Moon King jump in here, who, you know, the guy was early in SHIB, smashed it in SHIB, you know, for him to be in something like this, I'll be in here too. So yeah, it's a really cool thing, man. So I don't know, man. I know that, you know, like I said, times like this, when there's 30 plus people in the space, this is what counts. You're going to remember these people in these spaces when, you know, PulseChain's 100x or 50x, 20, even 20x, 10, 20x. You're going to remember these spaces, dude. And you're looking down and you're going, wow, there's 500 people in this pTGC space. Like, there's 700 people. Like, holy crap, you know, it's going to happen. So buckle up. You know, it's going to happen. You know, and I don't know, man. Like I said, from a market standpoint, looks like the Fed's going to cut some rates. May have a little sell the news event. And then we should be up and at 'em from there. So we'll see, man. I'm hyped either way.
Nice, man.
Are you still in the gym? You still working them biceps?
I am. Hey, man, you can't be rich and fat.
It's true.
Those things don't mix, bro.
Yeah, that's not cool.
It's true. MJ, what you got, bro?
Well, I just wanted to add, which is, you know, just a little bit before getting out of here, what Trevor said. I mean, it's amazing. You know, I think, you know, I give him his flowers in person. I give him his flowers every time I get a chance to. You know, I've been following B-Rules now for a couple of years. We had a crazy meme coin run in, and all the profits, you know, in the pTGC to the point where I'm almost shut. And, you know,
nice, man. Good for you.
Yeah, dude. Even with these swings,
that's phenomenal.
Even with these swings, even with this, like, I don't hold anything else that I sleep that good at night where I'm just like, so what? You know, let it go down, let it go up, and it's the constant drilling. It's, you know, you monetize the only constant in crypto, which is volatility. like, okay, sell, I get more, but like, it doesn't matter. I win. And, like, once again, shout out to Moon King. Like, it drilled in our head, like, okay, I'm comfortable holding. My wife was listening to me right now. She's like, hey, remind me to buy my mother-in-law some, and any chance I get, that I can. It's a little bit of a difficult concept to understand at the beginning, but, you try to simplify terms to where people can understand it. But that was, well, basically just the only constant crypto is volatility. So go ahead and benefit from it.
Well, just think about if our whole crew was doing exactly that. While we're memeing on Pulse, when we hit, you drop 20% right back into pTGC or whatever. The whole crew is doing that.
Yeah.
Man, you got the machine doing it, you got the DAO doing it, you got the crew doing it. The issue is people just like to just take their little spot and then just marinate, and that's it. They don't raid, they don't tell, they don't buy more. It's like, come on, guys. If you want to be the biggest thing on a chain, you got to have energy. You got to be raiding. You have to be putting money back in. You have to be making the biggest candle on the chain. You have to be making people FOMO from other chains.
Bro, and to that point, Mando, I got to piggyback off of that. I would consider myself a very well-connected individual in the entire RH ecosystem as far as different, people and figures you see. I can tell you right now, man, some of the biggest players in this game are invested in pTGC. They're acquiring, and I'm not gonna knock. I'm not gonna go there. Some of them don't say a lot about it, but they're invested. Okay, like that's the whole reason you see these different support levels. Is there's a lot of guys who believe in this thing, and B-Roots is right. He sent a tweet not too long ago, something to the effect of, I'm gonna get it wrong, but something to the effect of that all of these guys that aren't talking about it now will talk about it later. He's exactly right.
That's 100% because there's a lot of people that see what this is now, and they're looking for entry points, and you don't shill until you fill.
That's exactly right.
That's the number one rule, man.
Straight up. And they're all like looking for these entry points. I got a text today, dude. From, someone that I promise 90% of y'all know. And he's like over here talking about adding to his pTGC bag, riding these levels and this, that, and the other, and this bag and that bag. And pTGC was one of them. And I just, it's crazy to me. I think a lot of these guys are still, I hate to say maxi mindset because some of them aren't. I think they're just not used to just talking. Me, like, I don't give a shit. Like, cool, Richard's awesome. Like, I know Richard. He's a good guy. Cool, awesome, great, wonderful. Like, I like pTGC, okay? And I'm my own man, and I can like it, and it's great, and it's going to do fantastic, and I believe that, and I hope that more people jump on that bandwagon. But I know in private, for sure, there are a lot of people that really believe in this thing.
Awesome.
And they're holding, and you can see it on the chart. You can literally just go look at the chart and see it on these resistance levels. I cannot wait, dude. Like, I told B-Roots this not too long ago. I cannot wait to see the next leg up. I can't wait till this engine really starts humming. When Pulse starts burning, PulseX starts burning, Hex starts burning, and you see UFO and pTGC, really steal the show. I genuinely believe that's going to happen, and that's not to say, and that's the thing I will say about this coin is it's always, you guys have always held yourselves with such class and always backed Richard and backed his assets, and I freaking love that. I love that, man, because I still own those assets. I still believe in those assets. It just happens to be that there's this other coin that is doing some amazing stuff that I want to participate in, and it's really awesome. MJ, you're unmuted, man. You can have.
Yeah.
I'm done, brother. I'm done preaching.
When you keep bringing stuff up and it brings things to mind, just real quick. And I gotta get to bed. I got a 4 a.m. wake up, anyways. But dude, and I don't think you guys it's 30 people in the space, but I mean, I joined the community, we just started, investing late in 21, and I kept on asking myself, why all these people doing all this winning, but it's just this kind of negative energy. Just kind of told you, and I get it. They had to be real contrarian. Maybe that's what was needed at the time to kind of bind everybody together. But what I've noticed and what's been different now for, almost 2 years that I've been, with you guys or just, in pTGC is you don't make anybody feel stupid. There's different people at different levels. We all started somewhere. I've joined in on a bunch of spaces called where you get the same questions over and over again. And it's never kind of, you never get the feeling like, any condescending tone or, we're better than you. It's just kind of like, hey, come join along. And what that makes me think is if Hex did what it did with sort of that negative energy and kind of built on it, imagine what it could do when everybody is sort of on the same, wave and say, hey, come and join along, and that's kind of been the feeling I've gotten from this community since the beginning. So in my opinion, that's what gets me even more excited. Because you don't have people sort of rooting against it like you did with Hex, and that's not to knock it. It was a great product. It is what it is, but it's not the feeling I get with this community. So then that, in my opinion, and like I said, like it was mentioned, mean with utility, it's genius because you embody.
Bro. Totally, I'm right there with you, man. And a lot of people they don't spend the time to like kind of look at the math. You know what I mean? Like the actual math behind this. That's the thing is half of pTGC is just math. And I actually hate math. I failed math. I had to go to summer school. It's hilarious. But whenever I look at this thing, like I'm looking at it right now. Like let's say, I'm on a little calculator here. Let's say we do at an X factor of 2 and we go back to a lot of people want to play moon math and stuff like that. I'm not that guy. But let's say we go 3x above SAC. That's it. 3x above SAC. Dude, we're sitting at half a penny. That is a 12x, almost a 13x from here. And that is incredible. I don't care who you are. 13x on your money is ridiculous. That's amazing. And a lot of guys like Mando, B-Roots, and a lot of these other guys, they've been in since the very beginning. But, for guys like myself that got in 3-4 months ago and stuff like, dude, are you kidding me, man? A 13x? That's fantastic. That is amazing. And it's all just math. It's liquidity and it's math. And I love that, and I love that about this token. It's not hard to go do your math, do a little bit of research, and you'll find out real quick that this thing has legs, and half the battle is community, and it has an amazing community already. A lot of people that are vocal, a lot of people that are silent, but it has a foundation and a community, and it's going to keep going. And that's why when you see guys like B-Roots talking about, it being in the top 50, top 25, that is actually realistic. That is actually real. Like, it really can happen. It's got a good narrative, good logo, good community, good tokenomics, good math. It makes sense. It makes logical sense.
Well, Trevor, let's be honest. You used the word believe earlier. You get a lot of people that believe in it. It's like there's two types of faith, right? There's blind faith, where you're just believing just blindly, hoping Jim Jones isn't, a fake Jesus. And then you have faith in evidence, because you actually have things you can see. They're quantifiable, right? You're right. The system is mathematical. Everything is code, and all of the code is directly correlated to math formulas in PulseX and the blockchain. They're literally math formulas in liquidity pools. And this system is taking advantage of math formulas in liquidity pools, and it will never stop doing that. And the math formula, the mechanics, the math is literally designed. This is a freaking fact. The math is coded, hard coded, to make the price of pTGC go up forever.
Yep.
The only thing that makes the price go down is if the liquidity bonding that we're paired with goes down, or if people that hold amounts of the token decide that they don't want to be in the protocol anymore and it temporarily goes back down. But as long as PulseChain exists, this it's a smart it's 3 different smart contracts. That's a suite. It's hard coded to hyper deflate the token, make the token price go up, make the price floor go up, constantly add to liquidity, constantly pay out more and more of the yield to people who stay in the protocol longer, and it's never going to stop. So if you think that PulseChain is going to do anything in the future, if you just realize the reality of that, this isn't some Ponzi where, I hear people throwing the word Ponzi around for things like a pTGC or, other things, right? A Ponzi pays people yield from other people coming in underneath. This system doesn't do that. This system never pays yield from other people's money coming in underneath in that way. It pays yield from volume and volatility on blockchain, right? So in terms of belief, we've got 26 months of data of actual, quantifiable information where you can literally sit down with a hedge fund guy, or like I did with you and your friend, a professional financial planner of 30 years. And when you do that, you know what I found, Trevor? And you were on the phone with your friend when we did that. When you break down how this system works to those people, it's like they instantly get it.
100%. 100%.
He was like, oh my God, this thing is literally set up like an index and it's paying out dividends. And so they start using the language and it's like, yeah, and this thing is hard-coded, renounced, immutable on the blockchain, can never change? Correct. So all this is at this point is a who can hold the coins the longest game.
And even then, when they do sell, the system kicks in. That's the crazy.
Yeah, but if dude, whoever has 1 billion coins or more, they're in a position that everybody on the blockchain wishes they were in. And I just don't think that there's a lot of people willing to relinquish those positions at this point. Mm-hmm. If there was, guys, the price would be much, much lower than it is right now.
Yep.
It's true, man. Holding 1 billion pTGC is quite the feat right now. Maybe early.
So that is the top 50 holders. I think number 51 is at like 980 million. Even those positions, dude. Even the top 100 positions. I mean, I just don't. We know a lot of these people, and a lot of those addresses also represent multiple. One person with multiple addresses. So it's like when you know what you own, and you have 26 months of math, not a KOL blowing steam up your ass to buy the next pump and dump, but a first of its kind financial product built on a one of a kind blockchain, in the sense of how Richard set it up. Look, man, this could be the speculation of a freaking lifetime, and people are not taking it seriously.
Couldn't agree more, man. Couldn't agree more.
It's mind-boggling to me. This thing generates millions of dollars of revenue on a dead blockchain right now. And it all goes back to me. How stupid can you be? We're on a protocol at 100 million market cap generating millions of dollars of PulseChain per year, and it only goes back to the token holders with no overhead. How stupid can you be?
That's what I'm saying, man. I consider myself one of the lucky ones that actually figured that out fast and got my position in this thing, and it in a weird way. And I don't know. I don't want to want to cause all this argument and stuff. But in a weird way, it does kind of feel like realizing something as powerful as Hex, and like accumulating a position where you're very proud of that and you're excited and for the long haul. And it feels the same way, man. It really, really, really does. So I'm
and the best part is and I don't mean to cut you off, is that all the biggest holders in pTGC are large holders in Hex, number two. And number three, pTGC is one of the largest holders of Hex.
Mm-hmm.
So how in the hell can you lose?
Exactly. It's crazy, dude. Like,
Trevor, I was gonna say before you continue, you gotta call it, dude. I know you say it's like discovered Hex, but it's better, and you've seen why. I mean, I can say that.
You gotta do that to me, dog.
It's better. He called it.
Listen.
Liquidity.
I just.
It's better. Everything.
I got too many people looking at me right now.
And went through the last cycle. We've seen what happened. Removal liquidity, all the gains are answered with pTGC. I mean, you just got to call a spade a spade. It's better.
Nah, dog. Listen, I got a lot of people looking at me, but here's what I'll say. I don't.
I'm not gonna lie like that. I can say what I want.
Dude, MJ, I appreciate it, brother. I'm not gonna sit here and knock Hex. I think there's a part of me that really loves the I really do, man. I love the part of pTGC that loves the Richard Hart's tokens, man. I love that everyone here is such a fanboy of his tokens, because I am. And I never want to talk shit on his tokens, man, because the guy has made some really cool shit, dude. I mean, he's the reason we're all sitting on this freaking space. You know what I mean? Like, and I just don't want to. I don't want to do that, dude. But do I think this is an incredible product with amazing legs? MJ, 100%, brother, 100 freaking 10%. And there's no reason that it can't do as much, if not better. And that's the thing, man. Is Vitalik's not over here going, oh gosh, man, SHIB did way better than my Ethereum. You know what I mean? Like, Richard's not going to be going, oh gosh, pTGC did way better than my Hex. Like, no, dude, he's going to be very proud that he invented a blockchain that's immutable. It's an amazing blockchain, and it's doing some amazing stuff for a lot of amazing people. And so yeah, to your point, dude, I think it's incredible. It's going to do amazing things. Like I said, I think if anything, man, I will agree with you. This is like early Hex. It's like early Hex. And if you can accumulate here, man, good on you, bro.
All right, Zen. We're gonna have to do another LP ad with Hex, bro. We got do a little pump for H.
I'm not knocking Hex. Hex is a good product, and
it's a great product. It's a great.
I know a lot of this camp, might disagree with me, but I think big things are coming for Hex and T-shares, and there's some stuff in the works, man. I
just don't want to.
I'm just saying right now, for what Hex was preached for, I think pTGC is better. But I agree with you. I mean, I think when it's all said and done, there's going to be some kind of utility for Hex that's going to blow everybody away when it's all said and done.
I totally agree.
Going through a cycle right now where everybody, was taking it as the second coming, and now price is down, and it's just a reflection.
I'm just saying, dude, it makes logical sense. Like, I love pTGC. Don't get me wrong, just one of my biggest freaking bags, dude. But like, at the same time, like, bro, don't play yourself, dude. The guy that invented this blockchain, his little nurtured baby is Hex. Don't fail.
Hell yeah! And when he moons that shit, moon our LPs to the stratosphere.
That is exactly right. That is exactly right. But don't fade it, dude. The guy loves.
Too.
All right, Zen, you got to add some more Hex.
Real quick too. By Richard giving people the ability to put amazing code bases on his blockchain and bond them with Hex, pTGC is now big enough too as we grow, we're also helping Moon Hex too. So it's vice versa. With the growth of
Can you
Hex,
expound on that?
Yeah, so you remember how you used to say that, the tail wags the dog, Trevor?
Yeah. I just want everyone else to hear that. Like, expound on that. How pTGC can help benefit Hex. Go ahead.
Yeah. So it's actually multiple reasons. So for one, if anyone wants to be exposed to pTGC, since pTGC isn't on centralized exchanges directly interchangeable with USD, someone has to come to PulseChain first. So right off the bat, if anyone, let's say a large investor, wants to expose themselves to pTGC as a legitimate store of value in the future as we evolve, right? Let's say someone wants to come in with $1 million in the pTGC. This is like in my mind roadmap of where I want pTGC to become in the future as it evolves into like a premier store of values. I want users to say, hey, I like this product. I want to store $1 million in it due to its scarcity. It's built in APY. It's burnt liquidity. Well, guess what? It's only on PulseChain. So they have to actually bring in $1 million into PulseChain first. Right now, $1 million into PulseChain would make PulseChain go up like 50+%, right? So automatically it increases everything on PulseChain if someone wants to be exposed to pTGC. But more importantly, if that value trickles down to pTGC and UFO has actually became so large on chain for on-chain liquidity. As we increase in value, we're now large enough to where we're actually dragging Hex up as well. Just like when Hex increases in value, it drags us up. So it's not so much a situation where we are small, so when we move up, like we're not really doing anything for the dog, Hex being the dog. We've now grown so large that we're no longer the tail on the dog. We are like the same size of Hex in liquidity, which makes it to where we have that much of an impact on Hex increase in value. So the success of pTGC creates the success of RH tickers even more. The downfall of pTGC drags Richard's tickers down at this point. That's how large it's become.
Wow.
Which actually means that everybody on PulseChain is incentivized to see pTGC freaking move.
1%. Since pTGC was one of the biggest purchaser of RH's tickers at the bottom, and we've bonded ourselves with it, the whole entire Pulse is, it's in their best interest for the code base of pTGC to work. Because as we keep buying and burning, becoming scarcer, growing, we're actually helping drag up tickers. The same as when his tickers buy and burn, they're helping to drag us up. And I actually don't know of a situation in blockchain where you have a, if not deflationary, almost blockchain. Keep in mind, most every blockchain is inflationary, I'm pretty sure. Like there could be one out there that isn't, but this is the closest one in my opinion, I think. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Bonded with deflationary tokens like PulseX. So first supply blockchain connected to deflationary tokens, connected to also deflationary tokens, pTGC and UFO. This has been done before. And it literally just taps into supply and demand, economics 101, for being able to control price or increase price. The one thing in supply and demand, right, is we have limited supply. PulseChain's limited, PulseX is limited, Hex is limited, pTGC is limited, UFOs. In supply and demand, what is the only thing we're missing here on PulseChain currently to completely demand?
Volume.
Yeah, it's just demand. That's the only thing we're missing. That demand could come from our own community, onboarding a friend, literally 10,000 active users on PulseChain. If everyone just onboarded one friend, $5,000, like we'd be up like 10x in a week. But let's say everyone's onboarded their friend already. Marketing push way, onboarding from green candles. Maybe Richard throws a little our way. There's tons of ways that we can actually get green candles here. If any sort of demand actually works in our favor, dude, there isn't any supply on the market for the rest of the world. Crypto isn't like a store in a city where you're really only able to sell in that city. It's not even like a online store that ships, locally or in the United States. It's a worldwide blockchain. Literally, there's a limited supply for the rest of the world. And it's not like a normal company where they just make more of something that has demand. There is no more. There's less and less that exists every single day for the rest of eternity. As long as PulseChain exists, the supply of PulseChain will be extremely. PulseX, there will be less and less every single day. pTGC, there will be less and less every single day. And the less pTGC on the market is just going to keep pushing Hex's price up. The less PulseX on the market is just going to keep pushing PulseX up. If PulseChain increases anything, it just drags Hex up. Like, I agree with you. Do not underestimate Hex. Richard was able to do a 10,000x with Hex on a blockchain that only did a 10x last cycle.
Big facts.
He has that's massive.
Where before he only had 10 levers he could pull. He has every lever on this whole entire blockchain he could pull at any point. He controls everything.
I agree.
So well put, dude.
So 100%. I do want to bring up a question, and I mean, it's only 30, 40 of us in here. So, this is something that's been kind of just, gnawing at me a little bit. As to I can't really answer why. Everything that the protocol embodies is, and you guys have already said it. I mean, RH principles through and through. It's just a beautiful project. Why do you think RH hasn't given it its flowers yet?
Because I'm going to jump in here. Sorry, boys. I'm going to jump in here.
Right.
Because it has a quote unquote tax. That's
not why.
That's it?
You don't think so, Mando?
No, it's because he didn't create it, and it does things that are very similar to what he created.
Mando, wait a minute, Mando. He shot out I think it was towards the end of 23. He gave shout out to certain protocols that took sacrifices.
He gave a shout out to liquid loans.
Yeah, and he
gave a shout out
to the fiat, whatever the leverage, geometric.
Yeah, which those are two massive forks of $100 million protocols on Ethereum. Those are legacy designed financial products.
But I mean, in his defense, like, if I made some products, if I made a badass product that was a phone or device or fucking crypto, it really didn't matter. If I made something and something else came along, like, bro, no offense, but I'm not gonna talk about it, like, straight up. And that doesn't mean it's not good. Apple doesn't talk about Samsung. Even though,
but guess what, Trev? Guess what, MJ? When he talks about Hex and PulseChain and PulseX and Ink, he's talking about pTGC by proxy.
And I will say,
checkmate.
He talks about burning. He talks about burning a lot.
All of the tokenomic mechanic tweets that he's come out with in the last 6 months that have been really the kind of the higher tier. Really, you got to read through them to understand if you're new. All of those mechanics are what the pTGC ecosystem embodies on steroids. It's almost as if he's talking about pTGC, but he's not. But he is by proxy because the Grays was designed based on those mechanics, just with a hybrid nuance of it.
Well, then, hold on. Wait, before you ask me, and I agree 1,000%. And that's why I said it's a little puzzling to me because it embodies everything that he's teaching and it keeps on talking about. But so under that, guys, if he doesn't talk about anything he doesn't create, does that mean him mentioning Liberty Swap, he's involved?
No, not at all. I think he's just trying to offer, and I'm saying this loosely, but offer a bridge into PulseChain. I think he's really just trying to onboard as many people. That onboarding is a totally different conversation than a token that's been created.
100%. Those are onboarding tools for
Right.
the blockchain. The only other things that he mentioned were things like Maximus, which were built on top of Hex, that were derivatives of things of Hex. Things that were like Hedron. He talked about Hedron with Alex.
Correct.
These were derivatives of his thing, things that made HSI stakes for Hex, right? But you don't have him talking about protocols really that outside of those type and just a couple tier one financial products that came over for the theory.
And I think to a certain degree, you we all are on our own to find the assets that we like, because if you're looking for Richard's validation, you're probably not going to find it unless it's in the cores. You know what I mean? So, which is totally cool. I own cores. PTGC is built around cores. But yeah, man, I think don't be shaken. Don't be, whatever, to the fact that Richard has not explicitly tweeted in regards to this token or that token. I mean, let's just thank our lucky stars that he didn't.
Listen, the way this cycle has gone, I got it at my first buy was I got like a $2 million market cap. That's RH not shouting it out, is not shaking it. I'm like, is he really seeing it as a competitor? That's where my mind goes.
Possibly, man. Possibly.
You got something that's done everything, done the X's, done. Zen has just built a beautiful protocol. He's done it right.
Totally.
He's behind it. Why haven't you given it its flowers on your blockchain?
I know, right?
He doesn't need to.
I'm looking at that. Because it's already up. It's up. I get it. It's up. We're winning. But I
keep going back to the whole Vitalik, ETH, and Vitalik never said anything about SHIB, kind of conversation. I mean, he invented an amazing blockchain that is truly decentralized, that it's badass, and we have the opportunity to build these kind of protocols. But no, man, I mean, your question's totally valid. It's totally valid. I just think that I don't know, man. He probably just doesn't want to talk about it, which is totally cool. It's cool, man. No worries. We're just gonna keep doing our thing.
I think with the kind of power that Richard has, there's a lot of responsibility, and
totally great.
You have to respect how much responsibility he has, and just the conclusion that he's not going to be able to even talk about everything, even if he likes it or not, just due to the responsibility that he kind of has to his followers and to his blockchain. So I wouldn't look at it as like a bad thing. I completely understand as a founder, and one who has a small community and that people tend to listen to him. He could probably to go, jump off a cliff, and some people would probably do it, honestly. So I think there's some responsibility he has there, and it really isn't that big of a deal to me. I'm super excited that I was able to, be part of a system that is an amazing piece of code base that I do believe embodies a lot of his teachings. And I do believe that we have gotten this protocol big enough to where now we can actually be a large to this blockchain and to his other tickers, Hex and PulseX. The other side of that is when he starts really pushing his tickers, when he comes back, if it's streaming or if it's videos or if it's just him tweeting or if it's not even him coming back in videos or tweets or him just showing his presence in some green candles, or maybe if he doesn't come back, whatever it is, in a way he's going to have to support PTGC, even if it's not him saying it, but by increasing its value, increasing its liquidity, and increasing its buy and burn rate happening every single day. And for me, that's the most important part of the code. and
Totally.
and products.
And by proxy, I mean him increasing the value of what he's created increases the value of PTGC, whether he likes it or not.
100%. Yeah, it doesn't matter if he likes it or not. You know, I know he's.
Yeah, but let's be honest. We're not the only ones with that. I mean, that goes with anything that's paired to his stuff, man.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's very
100%.
true. Very true.
It's not like we've got the monopoly on reflexivity on the chain, man. We just have tokenomics that allow us to generate revenue.
Well, and you also have to realize every token. Yes, the amount of reflexivity is all just math based on your buy, right? But there is a side to it that is very important, is quantity of the asset in that pool that's going to get revalued, right? If you have an LP pool with $10,000 in it, and Richard sends, his ball 100x. Well, yeah, maybe there's $1 million in it now, but if you have $10 million and it gets sent up 100x, you now have $1 billion, right? This is very similar to if someone has the ability to multiply their net worth, right? And they have a $100 or a $1 million net worth. The multiplier of larger sums becomes a lot greater quantity of value. And I feel like that's a side that a lot of people are missing, is the amount of tokens within our liquidity pools of Richard's is a good majority of the on-chain liquidity of his assets. The only way we'll ever get at that liquidity is by actually buying the pTGC and UFO assets, or you actually can't even get at it. How do you get an asset out of a liquidity pool? You need the other side of the pair. What's every other side of the pair in the pTGC liquidity web? It's always pTGC or UFO. So as Richard's assets increase, it automatically is going to drag pTGC and UFO up with it. But the only way you can actually even access all that value in the liquidity is by owning the pTGC and UFO assets themselves.
And a lot of people don't understand what you just said, and why that's so important.
And they will. That's why they keep coming in this space. Dude, I feel the same way. A lot of people don't understand what you just said. And a lot of people are going to start finding out this meme utility idea where you can really participate in a token like this and actually understand and start to learn about cryptocurrency and learn about what it can do and learn about all of this. Like that's like a big topic that I don't really bring up a ton. I guess I probably should bring it up more, but like, pTGC is like, it's like this cool little into crypto. 5 hours with me, after reaching out to me and helping me understand this protocol and understand what it does, how it works, and all this other stuff. Like, I mean, there was a part of me that like kind of got excited. Like I felt like I was like, oh, learning crypto all over again. It was really cool. And I think there's that aspect too. I cannot wait, dude. I can't wait until the real true altcoin season, where you're seeing this stuff pump, 20, 30, 50, 70% daily. And these spaces are packing with people, and people are interest and they want to learn and they learn about pTGC. Like I genuinely can't wait for that time. But no, man, I'm gonna tell you, man, whoever Trevor is holding good amounts of this token. When it hits a $500 billion market cap, man, they're locked. Brother, if we hit a $500 billion market cap, no, 500 million to $1 billion. Oh, we'll be. I genuinely think we'll be. I'm not. Actually, screw it. I'll throw some moonboard math out there just to kind of end it because I do have to go to bed. I have to hop up here.
Let's go.
I think $1 billion market cap for pTGC is
Conservative.
extremely achievable within the next like 4 to 6 months, given the market sentiment, given kind of what's at play in the next 4 to 6 months. Like that's obvious. So we'll see. I don't know. I could be completely wrong. I historically am. But like I think there's nothing wrong with speculating, and personally, like, you know, 800 million to $1 billion market cap over the next 4 to 6 months is totally reasonable in my opinion for this token. It seems what I'm finding is that people are participating in PulseChain, and then the next thing you know is they're asking about pTGC. I've got a friend here in my hometown, who he's literally a financial advisor, has the quintessential job where you dress up in a suit, you go to the big high rise, and you talk to all these high net worth guys and this, that, and the other. And I got him into PulseChain, and within about 2 or 3 weeks, he was asking about pTGC. It was pretty cool, and now he's probably a lower shark in pTGC.
Well, that's the gentleman that I spoke with, right?
That's exactly right. Yep. And I, you know, like, dude, this thing's got some freaking steam is all I'm saying. So 500 million, 700 million, billion, dude, that's easy.
Well, here's the reality, dude. Here's the reality. That number can literally happen in 30 freaking days.
Exactly.
That's all it takes is for Richard to do what he does with the chain. That's it. And you're already there. You're like, oh my God. It happened so fast.
And that's crypto, dude. That's crypto. I remember I was actually talking with B Roots over this weekend and about that in regards to SHIB and talking about the market cap then and how it just like boom out of nowhere. It changed people's lives.
That's how it always works. Go look at all the charts. It's just going sideways for freaking ever. And then out of the blue, everyone that held their lives just instantly changed.
True believers. You know what's funny, Mendo, is actually to that point. I said that the other day to a friend of mine. I was like, man, you know, if you look at Hex, and I know the Hex chart probably better than most people. From its inception all the way to its peak, to its decline, everything. I know that chart very well by memory. And I'm telling you, dude, like, I actually have this weird theory where Richard, Hex was like this steady incline, you know, super steady over time, this, that, and the other. And that's the reason a lot of people are getting impatient on this chain. Because they're like, oh, Richard, look at Ethereum. It's about to moon. Look at Bitcoin. Oh my God, we got to get going. You know, what they're actually saying is we got to get going because we need that steady incline over the next 3 to 6, 8 months. You know, 8 max. But I actually have this weird theory that it wouldn't shock me, dude, if we look like the XRP chart. If it just, boop, done, boop, you wake up and it's just like done, boom, smack, in your face, done. Like this thing just slingshot.
Yeah, and then no matter what happens from there's limits. And whoever wants to relinquish their tokens from there, you're out.
That's exactly
because
right.
Because you have an entity that has so much money. That's, you know, Richard is famous for saying bottoms are created. Bottoms are created, right? New floors are created. He says bottoms are created. It's just really pricey.
Yep.
Literally, and I quote: "You make the bottom. It's just very pricey."
People, if you all of a sudden woke up and your portfolio was like 5-6x above SAC, you know how many people would be dumping it? Seriously, a lot of people would be selling their futures, and that's fine. Go for it. Like I'm telling you, it makes logical sense for this thing to just go boop, and all of a sudden everybody's like, "Oh my God!" and then it keeps running And you
want to know what protocol is going to make freaking millions of millions of dollars worth of pulse chain in those moments?
pTGC, dog.
100%. Millions and millions of dollars worth of pulse chain.
In that moment.
And guess what? Only those token holders are going to get all that yield.
And in that moment, when the liquidity pools do reassess, that is when the slingshot happens, man. It's like, I don't think people really understand how this thing works. I'm telling you, dude, I genuinely believe that that's kind of, it makes logical sense. Like, we saw Hex have this slow incline, and now dude, you guys have all seen it if you're on X. Like, you've seen the placement, the fractal over, of our chart over XRPs. If we were to do that, like, I'm just saying, man, like, dude, you're talking like shocking numbers very fast, like instant. A lot of people are going to fat thumb that thing. They're going to get out, and then it's going to keep running, and people are not going to know what to do. And when it comes to pTGC, it makes logical sense that we would run too. That all of a sudden our liquidity web is just like 10x'd, out of nowhere, which obviously affects price and affects a lot of things. So yeah, man, I'm super, like I said, I'm super.
Well, I'm going to tell you, what do you think happens when all that activity starts coming on chain? You think that some of the biggest voices aren't going to double down? You think that some of the biggest people on chain that are here are going to be holding more spaces, doing more live streams, doing more YouTube videos, uploading?
Totally.
The marketing ramps up with the energy.
Totally, man. I'm excited. I'm actually, I was talking about that the other day. I'm really excited to see like third-party contributors to pTGC. Prairie has been a hell of a contributor, man. Like, so many YouTube videos, so much information, so much, like, can't give him enough props.
Well, you want to know why Prairie is so good at what he does? Because that man loves pTGC.
No.
It like he found his second wife. Like, I'm gonna get a pTGC ring for his other family. Because it is his wife, man.
But what you're going to find is these little branch off spaces that start with 20 and 30, 50, 60 people. And then all of a sudden you're going to jump in that space and realize, oh my God, what we have created has spawned off into something else. That's exactly like how anything ever really of value kind of transpires. That's how it works. Richard created Pulse, and now there's 10 PulseChain spaces. And right now we're in the early works of pTGC, and we're all grinding and making it happen. And then next thing you know, dude, there's a random pTGC space, and Gray is not holding it.
Chair, I'll say this too. Yeah. This is a key thing, me personally as an investor, being where we are currently. There's options for people on a chain for you to park your capital. But once that initial run takes place and it's gone now, right? It's always hindsight is 2020. And so you're looking back going, oh shit, I wish that I was smarter and not thinking with my emotions. I wish I was thinking more like an investor, like a business person, right? Like a financial person. The thing that I love about Grays and the way that Zen designed it is that it is truly immutable. It is unchangeable. It is 100% benevolent. But the most important thing to me is there is no trust me, bro, part of the protocol. There is no one person gets 2% of the supply. There is no, well, we hope that the capital gets used over here for this. There is no, the LPs are owned by people and, the whole thing could just get pulled up at the top. Everything is burned when it comes to the course, right? So the Grays specifically to me, because of all those things, it's the one that you'll look back on and say, shit, I wish I was locked into that one earlier.
Bro.
Because it's so solid. It's like when Jesus says, if you build your house on the rock, when the winds come and the rains come, it's solid because it's built on the rock, right? But if you build on sand, where stuff can shift and things can move and it sinks. So to me, pTGC is that protocol on PulseChain that feels to me like it's built on the rock. And that's why I trust it with the amount of capital that I have in it. And that's going to be hindsight is 2020 for everybody after the revaluation. They're gonna see that amount of capital that's locked in, and they're gonna be like, shit, man, I could have been locked into that.
Couldn't agree more, dude. Couldn't agree more. There's gonna be a lot of people that faded this thing, and that's sadly the cold hard truth, man. There's gonna be a lot of people that faded it, but there's gonna be also a lot of people who didn't, and I'm not gonna be one of them. But listen, I do have to hop off here, boys. It's been awesome. Thank you for letting me speak. It's been such a pleasure. I do have to hop off here, but let's see what the next 3-4 weeks has in store. I will say it sounds like what is this? I'm looking right now. Looks like there's a lot of devices that are headed out over the next few weeks. So hey, man, I'm bullish. It's gonna be fine, and we'll see how this thing goes. So anyway, Mando, thanks for letting me talk, man. Appreciate it.
No, man, I didn't let you talk. You just talk, man. Appreciate you, man.
All right, boys. Y'all have a good night.
See you.
Talk to you soon. See you, buddy.
See you, Trevor. Yeah, I'm
All
getting pretty tapped out too, Mando, just to be honest with you.
Yep, I was just gonna say, let's just shut it down, buddy.
Okay, cool. Banana, you got anything? Any YouTubes before we go?
Nope, no more questions on YouTube. We're good over here.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, before we go, Mando, that there isn't a lot of times in life to where you can actually get into a premier store of something that you can actually feel good about holding your tokens in and feel comfortable about holding your tokens in or your value in. A lot of people who were looking at Bitcoin and Ethereum at lower prices didn't take action, at $100, but were willing to take action at $1,000 or $500. Once it proved to be a premier store of value. But there was a group of people who took action on it right at year 2, saw what it was, understood what it was, and was able to actually put value in before it did all the X's. Look at how many companies, governments, investors are storing value in Bitcoin and Ethereum today at these prices because of how strong the system is as for storing value. If they took the time to understand Bitcoin and Ethereum earlier, they could have stored all that value in it before it went up 100 to 1,000x. I think there is, like you said, there's going to be a point where I believe, and I hope, the pTGC and UFO, I hope the code base is good enough to where we're 6-7 years down the road here on PulseChain, and there's people on PulseChain who even knew about it at this price, but are still willing to store value in it 1,000x higher than here, literally bringing in money from the outside worlds or maybe making a trade and still bringing money into it because they still believe that that's a great price for that code base based on metrics and where the momentum is then compared to now. Because we have to remember what the machine is now is not what the machine is going to be after 100x. Today we're generating $10,000. After 100x, we're generating $1 million a day. After 100x, we have over $1 billion in liquidity. The machine is ever the compounding effect of this machine as it grows bigger and bigger and bigger is something I don't think exists today. And Richard could really speed up the process to where in a normal system, you would never get to actually see it evolve built on Bitcoin, right? And we're where we're at, or not Bitcoin, sorry, Ethereum. If we were built on Ethereum at Ethereum's price today and we were at the size we are today, yeah, we could get X, maybe here soon on Ethereum, which would be awesome, right? I wish we had a 10X on PulseChain, to be honest with you, at this point. But a 100 very short amount of time is possible here on PulseChain. That can literally send pTGC into the top 50 to 25 of crypto assets in the world. It can get us $1 billion plus in liquidity. It could make it to where we're generating millions of dollars a day of revenue. That's what I mean with what the product is today is not what it's going to be in the future. It is going to evolve.
You remember when we had a little taste of it, just a little taste of it, and there was so much freaking PulseChain coming in that we couldn't put in enough proposals to get it out. That's literally just the beginning, dude. It's just crazy.
A tiny glimpse. Literally a tiny glimpse of what this could be.
Like guys, for everybody who doesn't know, you don't, it doesn't matter, but the people who are really involved in that, do the proposals, it's amazing when you start seeing how this system generates the PulseChain as fast as it does with literally just a minuscule uptick of the blockchain. And you realize, my God, this thing is an absolute juggernaut on PulseChain. When PulseChain becomes a little bit successful, it is a once in a lifetime opportunity, in my opinion. If you know how the system works, the system at certain points in its history, with just those little upticks on PulseChain, this system started to generate so much PulseChain so fast. I remember being on the phone calls with Zen just going, holy shit, dude. And right now, the protocol is just sitting there generating hundreds of millions of PulseChain every couple of days. There's no automatic buy and burns are taking place, and the DAO hasn't been doing any buy and burns. Why? Because if you want to let go of your tokens here, feel freaking free. Feel free to let go of your future, right? The system's doing what it's doing. The DAO is literally stacking billions of PulseChain underneath of its holders, deflating the tokens, raising the price floor, enlarging its liquidity. This is a real financial product built on PulseChain. And if you have not spent the time to understand what this is, please do. It's not a joke. It's not a gimmick. Like 99.99% of everything in crypto, it is a legitimate smart contract suite. It's the first of its kind, and it changed everything on PulseChain. The second it hit the chain, certain people knew what it was, that know how these liquidity pools work, and a lot of people just laughed at it, just ignored it until they couldn't ignore it anymore. And let me tell you, another round of that is going to come, but it's going to be at a $500 to $1 billion market cap, though. So right now, we're at a point where it's near its local lows against PulseChain at around an 8-to-1 ratio. And if you have not taken a position, or if you top blasted, it is a wonderful time to just start accumulating this asset if you believe in the longevity of PulseChain. I make myself available for personal phone calls over X, where you can feel free to give me a call personally, and I'll help you walk through anything you need to understand. It's never a sales pitch, it's just real information. I do it for everybody, so feel free to hit me up if you'd like.
Thanks for offering that, Mando. I appreciate it. All right, guys. Yeah, let's shut it down. Banana, you have anything before we go?
Nope, I don't.
All right, cool, guys. That was a long one, so let's shut it down for Banana.
Thanks, Banana, for everything, brother. Appreciate you, man.
Thank you so
Thanks
much.
for coming up, MJ. Appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks for coming up, MJ. I appreciate it.
No, thank you guys for letting me talk. And Mando, wow, man, he left. I was going to say he had to look out for his DMs. I might have something cool that he just brought up. But anyways, thank you guys for letting me come up and, say my piece. Thank you.
All right, see you guys.
See you, everybody. There they go. Yay. All right, guys. That was a long one. I'm going to have to listen to the whole thing. All right. It's all good. I get more. If I try to pay attention, I just can't. So I just resign myself to listening to them. I catch what I can, then listen to them again. All right, guys. Have a great evening. Go get some rest. Let's hit it again tomorrow. See ya.